York. This emergency petition comes a day after a New York State appeals court judge rejected his attempt to get Friday's sentencing postponed while he appeals Judge Juan Merchan's decision to uphold the historic verdict against him. Merchan has indicated he won't impose jail time, fines, or probation.
Fox's Lillian Wu. Today, President-elect Trump will meet with Republican senators. Rand Paul tells Fox.
Well, I think we're all excited to be in the same room. We're all excited to make the tax cuts permanent.
They're from the first Trump term, and the president-elect wants to bundle that with other parts of his agenda in a budget reconciliation bill Democrats can't filibuster. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It begins today. Radar is clear, mostly cloudy, and 21 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. Lawmakers digging in at the State House as the legislative session gets underway. Many things to discuss for them, such as the next two-year budget, but also legislation to extend bans on transgender athletes on women's sports teams at the college level. Another bill would also disband certain school districts like IPS if they don't meet certain enrollment requirements. There was an officer-involved shooting in Peru Tuesday. Harrison Silcox reports.
It all started with a 911 call about someone hitting the windows of a home that they didn't live in. State police showed up to the house and learned their suspect was at a nearby trailer. Officers then found that man sitting outside of that trailer with a gun. According to state police, one of their troopers shot their own gun after the man had pointed it in their direction. He's now in the hospital. State police are looking into the whole thing. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Indy's first responders are teaming up to respond to incidents where someone is in crisis with their mental health.
A law enforcement response isn't always necessary or appropriate for these runs.
Which is why IMPD Chief Chris Bailey says they are teaming up with Indy firefighters and IEMS to pick up the slack whenever the city's clinician-led MCAT response team is off the clock. Mayor Hogshead says the goal is to divert those with mental health issues away from jail and into treatment. Evansville cops arrested two burglars outside of a home Monday that they had broken into. Court documents say the pair was had when their cars got stuck in the snow. One of the burglars ran off, but police say that they simply followed the burglar's footsteps to a nearby motel in the new fallen snow, and that's when he was arrested. Colts head coach Shane Steichen on what they're focusing on now that they're in the first week of the offseason.
A lot of evaluations. I'll meet with all the players, this week. Obviously, meet with the coaches, and then obviously we'll get into the self-scout stuff and start, looking at the draft.
General Manager Chris Ballard, who had been scheduled to do a press conference today, but the team's saying that he's under the weather, so that's been canceled. Traffic on the fives, Matt Bear.
All right, Kurt, we got knocked around in Pike Township today. Please be careful if you're going through there. We have some black ice. A little bit of chatter about it on Exit Man Traffic. Looking at southbound 65 Pike Township, crash approaching the dog leg, and right now left lane is blocked in both directions. Another crash in the median causing delays in both directions. Northbound side stopped to 86th Street, and a stall going southbound 65 between 71st and 465. This is blocking the left lane, causing a slowdown. A crash just south of that. It's going northbound 465 at West 56th Street, blocking the left lane and slowing us back to West 38th Street. Crash coming out of downtown towards the northwest side is northbound 65 MLK, blocking two left lanes. We're stopped at 21st for a 15-minute delay. Traffic sponsored by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios, our instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code RADIO and get an extra 5% off. I'm Matt Bear on the fives at WIBC Traffic.
Hey, Casey, did you know that the Social Security Trust Fund is expected to run out of money in less than 10 years?
Rob, that can't possibly be true.
Oh, it is. According to Barron's, an average couple could lose up to $16,500 every year in Social Security income.
Multiply that by 10 or 20 years, and it could easily add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's why it's critical you have the right strategy to file for Social Security.
Discover how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits with a free customized Social Security analysis.
It's from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy. He's our retirement guy, too. We trust Bill, and so can you.
If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling
317-932-9912. That's 317-932-9912.
Bill Demery, 317-932-9912.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Partly to mostly cloudy with a few flurries from time to time. Pretty chilly, a high of 23 today. Partly cloudy, bitter cold tonight, a low down to 1. I'm Wish TV's Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
21 and mostly cloudy downtown. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
In almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it is a one and done. Because we don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
AdventNews.com. You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, January 8th, 7 minutes after 9. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Do you want to talk about Donald Trump? Can we? He put on a show yesterday.
All right, so you want to do Trump before I unload on these ancient fossils down the street from us.
Are you talking about Jim Buck and Susan Glick?
Yeah, I want to give them plenty of time so people can let them know. I mean, I guess what? Give
Gather
them about
around the radio.
10 minutes.
Your
and then
name
we're gonna,
is going to be
We're going
called.
to talk about these two decrepit dinosaurs. Okay, yeah, Trump. Let's go with Trump first.
All right. Well, he held a press conference yesterday. He was talking about a range of issues, including NATO, hostages, his wish to buy Greenland, also take control of the Panama Canal. He discussed Elon Musk, speculation about Canada becoming a state, lots of key different things. And I think the most, I don't know if you want to call it shocking because it came from Donald Trump, and that means nothing should shock you at this point. But he announced that he wants to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
Okay, so let's talk about this for a second because I kind of thought that we were seeing a little bit different Trump in the build up to him taking office, and you and I were somewhat optimistic about, okay, it's going to be a little different this time. What I've seen the past week seems like a total repeat of the 2016 to 2020 stuff where he's unfocused. He's talking about things that have no chance of happening. He's putting things out there that just in no way relate to the everyday life of Americans. And we're not talking about the things that matter, which is how are we going to get the immigration bill, the tax reform bill, the government accountability stuff. How are you going to do this through reconciliation? That is what actually affects people. Renaming something to the Gulf of America doesn't help a single solitary person. Greenland is not for sale. You can send your kid over there all you want. You can whatever. It belongs to Denmark, and Denmark ain't selling. Canada, not going to become a part of the United States. Everybody knows this. Now, can you say that we need to get better trade deals with Canada? Do we need stronger border security from Canada? Sure. But there's not one single member of Canada, the Canadian government,
who's going to go for that or think it's a good idea.
That believes that this is imminent. And by the way, somebody, I think it was Van Jones, pointed this out. Canada would be a super liberal 51st state. And based on population alone, can you imagine the allotment of representatives that would then go to Canada and how that would upset the entire balance of power? I mean, none of it's serious. None of it's serious. And now not only is it some joking thing he said in passing, now he's fixated on it. Now he's fixated on the Greenland stuff. Now he's fixated on the Canada stuff. And the problem with this is the one thing that he's actually made some decent points on that really would affect Americans is the Panama Canal.
And that'll get ignored because you put it in the pool of all the other nonsense.
I thought we had moved past this. I thought we were going to see a different, more toned down, more professional Trump, and it's right back to this nonsensical gobbledygook that doesn't help any single person because it is not happening. It's not happening. He has 2 years, Casey. He has 2 years because after 2 years, He's going to probably lose the House or the Senate. It's just American history. It's how, and especially with a razor-thin margin in the House, it'll probably be the House. And then it becomes ineffective anyway because everybody goes into campaign mode. You got 2 years to get all this stuff done. You have so many things you want to accomplish, and you're wasting your time on this stupid stuff.
You think the important stuff is going to get lost in the message of the more ridiculous stuff?
Do you know how hard this reconciliation thing is going to be when you factor in the idea that not only is it a budget issue, which is related to the renewal of the tax policies, et cetera, but it's also a border security issue. He essentially has 2 bills. He wants them put into one bill. Now, there's merit to both sides of this, but whether you do them as 2 bills or certainly as one bill, the lifting involved in this that it's going to take to get this with the razor-thin margin they have in the House and in the Senate, you have 2 complete squirrels in Murkowski and Collins, who you can never rely on. Focus on that.
I saw somebody yesterday say he's going to eventually try to rename the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans to the East American Ocean and the West American Ocean. But it does go along with his theme of putting America first. Now, can you do it? Can you just rename the Gulf of Mexico? I guess it's just all branding, right? But he hasn't even been sworn in. And at this point, he's already tried to rename an ocean, purchase a country that's not for sale, reclaim the Panama Canal, and he did possibly scare the Canadian president into quitting.
Trudeau was going
pointing out his faults enough.
Trudeau was going to quit because his government is crumbling in front of him, and Trump's election, yes, did play a role in that, but not because Trump said Canada is going to become the 51st state. Here's why this matters, okay? And people can, oh, you don't get Trump. You don't understand. No, you know what I understand? How to accomplish things legislatively. And here's the reality. You have a bunch of people in the Senate and the House who, whether you like it or not, they're there and their vote counts. And they are old-timer institutionalist people. And that means they have no tolerance for this crap. They see it as completely unprofessional. And they are more apt to not do what you want them to do unless you play by their rules. You people cannot like this if you want, but Mitch McConnell still has a lot of power over there. We can think it's completely ridiculous. But Mitch McConnell and the little goof troops, Spendenberg and the rest of the little minions who follow him, are going to go by his marching orders. And if Trump is out here being a clown on Greenland and Canada, instead of focusing on how the nuts and bolts in the Senate, especially, nuts and bolts are very important because there is a parliamentarian, and the parliamentarian then rules on whether you can do things or not. And then there is a nonpartisan person who rules on. And this person, remember the last time when the Democrats were doing this, there's a nonpartisan person who then scores whether you can actually do different budget maneuvers. Remember when the Democrats did it a couple of years ago? They were the person said, no, you can't do this, and this thing would have to come out, and you couldn't put this in. This stuff is so complex, and this should be all of Trump's focus right now. And it just doesn't seem to be like any of his focus.
Yep. Instead, he wants to rename the Gulf of Mexico. Here he is.
It's ours. We're going to be changing, sort of the opposite of Biden, where he's closing everything up, essentially getting rid of $50 to $60 trillion worth of assets. We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. And it's appropriate. It's appropriate. And Mexico has to stop allowing millions of people to pour into our country. They can stop them. And we're going to put very serious tariffs on Mexico and Canada.
So it's been called the Gulf of Mexico since the 16th century. But Donald Trump, marketer, wants to change it. Now, he's throwing these things out just to keep people guessing, right? But is he actually going to be able to get anything done, as you're pointing out?
Governing is hard. Campaigning is easy. Governing is really hard, especially if you want to do it well. And governing is about knowing the room, knowing who you have to get to yes on whatever your thing is, and you have to eat crap and like the taste of it. Good governance, good governors understand the people they're dealing with. They check their egos or their preferred styles at the door, and they figure out how to get the allotted number of people to yes to get the most amount of what they want. This is not helping that.
During that press conference, he also had an investor come in and announce a $20 billion investment. And this was to build new data centers in the United States. It's part of this broader investment for U.S. tech infrastructure. And it will affect Midwest states. And it's supposed to boost the U.S. position not only in artificial intelligence, but also technology sectors. And then in the same press conference, he's talking about hostages in the Middle East. And he said that all hell is going to break loose, right? And then he was talking about Panama Canal and Greenland. And he was asked a question if military or economic coercion would be used. So you know, like, which one is he serious about and which one is just all bombastic comments?
I'm so glad you're saying this, because when I say it, then people just get mad at me and call me a never Trumper or whatever. I'm so glad, because you're the voice of reason on this show, that you're saying the same thing, which is you have such a finite amount of time to do something very difficult. Now, you can do it. You have the votes, theoretically, to do the thing that he wants to do. If he's actually serious about the border security, a long-term solution to the border, if he's actually serious about the tax policy and getting some of these DOGE recommendations or whatever in, he has the votes to do it. Yeah, but it's such a needle.
I mean, what is serious and what is not? That's what you have to sift through with Donald Trump.
All right. Let's take a break.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it usually takes a couple weeks before the Indiana General Assembly, the Republicans there, turn into a bunch of disgusting human beings.
They did it before they even started last night.
But a couple of people who should be locked in a retirement home somewhere, they decided they weren't even going to wait, and hot dang, they were out of the gate before the session even started. Let's rip some Republican ass when we come back, Casey.
It's coming up next on 93 WIBC.
Thousands of people had to evacuate fast in Los Angeles County.
Another update is just minutes away.
Fire is moving so fast and just exploding because of the wind.
3 wildfires rage out of control, spread by hurricane-force wind gusts.
Get the facts.
Snow is in the forecast for Friday.
Not just the talking points.
1 to 2 inches expected. Temperatures will drop into the single digits overnight.
On the level.
Shane Steichen.
Start, looking at the draft.
On the go.
Legislative session kicks off today.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Hello, friends. It's Rob for Universal Windows Direct. And right now might be a great time to upgrade your windows if it's a little drafty in your house. It's pretty cold out there, and I think it's about to get worse. Don't wait. It could be your windows. And right now with Universal Windows Direct, for every 2 windows you buy, you're going to get the next 2 free. That's right. Buy 2, get 2. Buy 4, get 4. Buy 20, get 20. There's absolutely no limit. Oh, and they're going to give you 36 months of no interest financing. That's 3 years to pay for your windows without a single cent of interest. Plus, PLUS, if you've already received a quote from another company, bring it to Universal Windows Direct, and they'll beat it. That's their commitment to giving you the best quality and value for your home. Now, some restrictions might apply, so call today, 317-659-7574, 317-659-7574, and schedule your free in-home estimate. Get all the details and visit Universal Windows Direct on the web in the meantime. UniversalWindowsDirect.com, UniversalWindowsDirect.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks VapoStick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Early bird special only $49.99 guaranteed. Also, lose all the weight and let Mark Patrick hypnosis destroy unwanted cravings. Seminars Thursday, January 23rd at the Holiday Inn Express in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m., stop smoking seminar at 8. Or Saturday, January 25th at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Happy New Year from Life Church. This is Ross Steele, pastor at our Pendleton campus. You've heard the phrase, New Year, New You. It's usually referring to weight loss or financial goals. But we believe that this year can bring a new relationship with God and give your year more meaning, purpose, and fulfillment than you ever thought possible. Join us at one of our 4 Central Indiana locations to learn how to connect with God and what His Word says about your future. Visit lifechurchin.com for times and locations.
Book your custom patio project before March 1st and save up to $2,500. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
B is offering 1 bath remodel for as low as $99 a month, or get 2 bath remodels for as low as $249 a month. Call now to schedule that free in-home design consultation.
Casey, you know one thing you can always count on?
What's that, Rob?
Whatever the most petty, pathetic, despicable thing to do is, the Republican Party in this state, they'll find a way to push that right to the front of the line.
Well, you must be talking about Senate Bill 202. So with the new year always comes this new legislative session. The 124th meeting of the Indiana General Assembly begins today. Odd number year, meaning over the next 4 months, they're going to have to write the 2-year multi-billion-dollar state budget. But we've got 2 people who want to focus on the Department of Agriculture.
So it is amazing the utter disdain that the power structure of the Republican Party has for the electorate. And this is why we said repeatedly, stop voting for these people. They don't respect you. They don't respect your wishes. They don't like you. They loathe you. They see you as a personal, your personal finances are their piggy bank, and that's what they see you as. They have no respect for you. And it is fascinating to me how they used to kind of be good at hiding it. And
it's out there now, isn't it?
Anymore, they don't even hide it because the Democrats are so inept and the Democrats are so unserious that they don't fear anything.
Yeah, the Republicans feel beholden, or not beholden, but bolden.
So Micah Beckwith upset the apple cart and enraged these people because he was critical of them when he ran for lieutenant governor in the primary to begin with at the convention. He talked about all the dirty laundry of the Republican Party and where the Republican Party was failing in terms of taxes, in terms of size of government, in terms of spending. He talked about all of these things. Micah Beckwith was not a team player. He wasn't a ring finger kisser or a butt sniffer. And the power structure nominated one of their own in Julie McGuire to run against him, and she got the doors beat off of her by Micah Beckwith because the base of the party said, we're sick of this crap. We agree with this guy. We are sick of the spending. We are sick of the taxes. We are sick of the crony capitalism. We're sick of mega corporations being put above us. We're sick of our finances being treated like they're the government's own and they can do whatever they want with them. And we're going to go with this guy. And then during the general election, we heard, oh, Micah Beckwith, he's going to be a drag on the ticket. What a mistake the Republicans have made. Mike Braun won in a landslide. And it's abundantly clear. And I think Braun's even admitted this. I think he may have even admitted this on our show. Micah helped him more than he hurt him. A lot of people voted for Mike Braun who would have never voted for the Republican if it weren't for Mike Braun or it weren't for Micah Beckwith. And there are these legislators who can't stand it. They can't stand it because he didn't kiss the ring finger. He didn't ask permission to run. He didn't butt smooch with these people. And now they're, instead of doing what's right for you and actually looking at what the message that was sent by the voters, which is we're sick of your crap, Republicans. We're sick of your crap and the way you're doing business. Their response to that is, we're just going to try to take away all of Micah Beckwith's power.
Yeah, so Micah Beckwith told him where to stick it during the campaign. So now they're trying to gut his power. And let's discuss how James Buck and Susan Glick introduced Senate Bill 202. And I'm just going to read one line in this bill. Removes the requirement that the lieutenant governor is responsible for the implementation of the department being the agricultural department.
Yeah, that is the big thing that the lieutenant governor oversees. And look, Braun has started this process somewhat, has taken away several agencies that are normally overseen by the lieutenant governor and put him back under himself. And now you're seeing the next step in this, because don't kid yourself. Braun does not like Micah Beckwith. Okay, we're honest brokers here, and we're in an arranged marriage with Braun on the property taxes.
It may not even be that he doesn't like him. It's just
come on, Casey.
That wasn't his person. That wasn't his
right.
choice.
He doesn't.
He may like him as a person. It's just not who he wanted to work with.
Come on, Casey. He didn't want any part of that, and that's fine. Arranged marriages happen in politics all the time. You think Johnson and Kennedy wanted to be partners in 1960? No, of course not. It happens all the time. And so you are seeing the systematic gutting of the power of what the lieutenant governor has had for generations now, because they hate Micah Beckwith. And look, I've been very open and candid about this. As long as Braun delivers on the property tax reform stuff, don't care. I know what he is. He knows what I am. We'll work together on this. Universal school choice, property tax reform, and then we'll all, I don't know, maybe we'll go our separate ways. Maybe we'll find something else to team up on. But what these two, and by the way, these two people, Jim Buck and Sue Glick, they look like somebody went into the basement of a retirement home and was like, who are the oldest, most decrepit, most fossil-looking people that we can find, and said, here, you two carry this bill. Like, they may not even know they're carrying the bill at this point. I mean, straight out of central casting of everything that is wrong with our government. Two of the most establishment people that you could find, and by the way, the Bucks and their hatred for Micah Beckwith has been very known for a long time. By the way, Jim Buck has been there since 1994. I was 10, Casey. I'm a 41-year-old man now. This guy started when I was 10 years old, and they're so
your entire adult life and beyond.
They're so pathetically petty. I mean, it would be comical if it weren't so actually sad. You have a budget these people have to pass. You have property tax reform that's on the horizon. You have the Medicaid debacle. You have huge issues with the IEDC. You have road funding issues. I mean, all of these things that affect 7 million people. And these two dinosaurs are wholly invested in stripping Micah Beckwith of its power. That's their focus. You think they care about you at all? You think they give a damn about you and your life and your finances and your family being better? No, their focus is on this, which doesn't help a single solitary person.
Yep, Senate Bill 202, which means it's right at the top of their list, provides that the lieutenant governor is not the Secretary of Agriculture. There it is right there. They want to take any of his authority or responsibility away.
And look, if Braun disagrees with this, then he should come out and say it. If Rod Bray comes out and disagrees with this, then he should say it publicly. Stop it right now. Everybody sees what you're doing. Everybody knows what you're doing. The power structure is mad that they lost. They lost fair and square. They got the doors beat off of them because the state is sick of your crap, Republicans. The state is sick of your crap, and unfortunately, the Democrats are too inept to ever take them serious or ponder voting for them. So the message that the voters send when they can is an election to the people like Micah Beckwith. They are on the side of Micah Beckwith. They want change. They want property tax reform. They want you to stop treating their personal finances like your piggy bank. They want change, and they are on his side, not yours. And gosh darn it, Casey, it just never stops with these people. It just never stops.
You almost have to wonder if people like Jim Buck and Sue Glick, if they wanted to author this bill.
Oh, they totally did.
Or if they were told by somebody else, hey, you know what? We know your time may be winding down soon. Go ahead and do this. Put your name on here.
Especially with the Bucks. The Bucks are petty, awful, rotten people, and they can't stand the fact that this guy who they hate got into public office because he walked through the front door, he identified the problems that they have had with governance, and this is their response. Now, they're going to learn the hard way, and I know we got to get to the news, but they're going to learn the hard way. New game, right? New game in town, because Micah Beckwith's not going to take their crap. We're not going to take their crap. And every time they do this, we're going to call people out because we are with the people.
Jim Merritt is going to join us next. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Burning out west. It's mostly cloudy and 21 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Thousands of Southern California residents are hoping their homes survive the Palisades fire. The wildfire has burned roughly 3,000 acres around the Pacific Palisades, Malibu area. Unrelenting winds have also pushed the flames, which have burned down several thousand homes. And so far, at least at last check, no one has been killed. Another push to block his sentencing, talking about President-elect Trump's criminal hush money case.
President-elect Donald Trump's lawyers already busy this morning filing an emergency petition with the U.S. Supreme Court to block his sentencing in his New York criminal trial set for Friday, which, if that doesn't happen, he will have to appear virtually or in person. He has indicated that if it goes forward, he would appear virtually. This is after a news conference at Mar-a-Lago yesterday that made several headlines, including Trump talking about merging the United States and Canada.
Fox's Nate Foy. President Biden believes that he could have won re-election. Biden told USA Today that he could have defeated Donald Trump based on polling data that he's looked at. He said that his biggest regret was failing to counter what he called misinformation that rapidly spreads online. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. A little bit of a struggle to start the day. The Dow was off 11 points to 42,792. The NASDAQ down 27 to 21,329. And the S&P 500 is down 5 to 5,949. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. You know it's still Obamacare, right? We recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news. We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes with 2 of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what the heck do you have to lose? We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
Call Ron or Terry at 317-563-0868. That's 317-563-0868. Or go to rragency.org. That's rragency.org. A health plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
Are you having a hard time making it through a day of work without foot pain or discomfort with things that used to be simple, like walking the dog? You may be thinking there's no way that something as simple as the Good Feet store can help you, like Bill.
My feet would just ache, my back would hurt, my ankles, everything just hurt. And I'd seen the commercial several times before I finally said, I'm going to do this. And I'll be darned if it didn't work. I feel a million times better than I ever did.
Another satisfied customer of the Good Feet store is Wendy.
Since wearing my arch supports from the Good Feet store, my back pain is gone and my feet don't hurt as much. And as I look into the future without pain, I see myself being even more adventurous, joyful, and full of possibility.
Come to the Good Feet store today for your free fitting and test walk. We're located in Castleton by the Fashion Mall or in Greenwood just off the 65. Or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. Good Feet arch supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Discover your options at the Good Feet store.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Early bird special only $49.99 guaranteed. Also, lose all the weight and let Mark Patrick hypnosis destroy unwanted cravings. Seminars Thursday, January 23rd at the Holiday Inn Express in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m., stop smoking seminar at 8. Or Saturday, January 25th at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Hey, it's Rob. If you want to grow your hair back, check out the precision and accuracy of the Artist Robotic FUE at We Grow Hair Indy. You'll be amazed at the permanent natural results you can get and get back to work ASAP.
Darren Andrews, Clinic Director of We Grow Hair Indy, is here to tell us more.
The ARTIS robotic FUE hair transplant at We Grow Hair Indy, one of the most sophisticated hair transplant procedures available. The accuracy and the precision of the ARTIS robotic FUE is what clients love the most. Get the results you want with our ARTIS FUE or multi-unit hair grafting procedure.
Don't wait. Call today and find out more about the ARTIS robotic FUE at WeGrowHairIndy.com. Call 317-522-2995 for your hair evaluation. 317-522-2995 or go to WeGrowHairIndy.com and grow your hair back today.
Hey, little girl, is your daddy home? Did he go and leave you all alone? I got a bad desire.
So let's talk to somebody that knows how the General Assembly works unlike anybody else. 93 WIBC, it's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob Casey's here. Joining us today on the WIBC hotline. Boy, you want to know what's going on down the street from us at 200 West Washington. This guy is the guy. We're lucky to have him. The great Jim Merritt. Hello.
Robert, how are you doing?
I'm great. All right, so before we get to the inner workings of the General Assembly, can you kind of take us through what this day is like? Is it chaos? Is it organized chaos? I mean, this is the day the General Assembly reconvenes. You did, 30 of these in your elective life. Kind of take us, our audience, through very high level what this day is like for the lawmakers.
Well, they've already been sworn in. That happened on Organization Day, which is 2 weeks after Election Day in November. And so it's time to go to work. There are people trying to find the quote-unquote bathrooms. I saw at one point through the years almost 17 to 20% of the House of Representatives turns over every 2 years. And so there are new people who are struggling to get their sea legs. But there are also other people who have been back working for the last month or so and are in mid-season form, if you will, and they're filing bills. The last day to file a bill is coming up very, very soon, and so there's a rush. There's an anticipation of committees being, committee hearings being scheduled and undergone, if you will. And so I'm certain there's a lot of excitement there from the lobbyists. You have a new administration that a lot of them are trying to find their own bathrooms, and as well as the fact, I'm sure the Braun people are getting a feel for their offices and making calls on members of the legislature, and it's almost like back to school night, Robert.
All right, so let's talk about this. Casey and I got into it just a little bit ago, and that is just these really two disgusting state senators, James Buck and Susan Glick. And look, there's a litany of issues, and maybe we'll get to some of them here in a minute, facing the state of Indiana this year. You've got a Medicaid crisis. You got this property tax issue, which is number one to so many people. You got a road funding crisis. You've got this budget that is in front of everybody. All of these hot-button issues. And these two jokers are spending their time not trying to help the people in any shape, form, or fashion. These two jokers, James Buck and Susan Glick, are spending their time trying to strip away the power of Micah Beckwith, who was elected by the people of the state of Indiana, not because he's done anything wrong. They simply are mad that he didn't kiss their ass and kiss the ring finger and ask their permission to run for lieutenant governor. This is really gross. You and I talked about this before, Jim. You said, hey, no way these guys with all the stuff in front of them, even if they do hate Micah, are going to do this. It appears they're going for it.
Yes, I just became aware of this bill yesterday. I've not seen the bill, but there's no but to it. Senator Braun, Governor-elect Braun, is undergoing a complete revamping of his cabinet, of his state government. I don't know if his interest resides here on the reconstructing of the responsibilities of the lieutenant governor. I don't know the backstory is what I'm trying to tell you. But I will tell you this, since the 1980s, the legislature has built the Secretary of State's responsibilities. That individual wasn't in charge of elections back then. And we believe that the legislature should build these offices so they have responsibilities because people elect them because of their talents. And in regards to lieutenant governor, way back in the 80s, it was the individual, John Mutz, for instance, was really in charge of the Commerce Department and for economic development. Since then, the legislature built the lieutenant governor's office with housing, with broadband, with agriculture, and as well as the individual has dabbled in economic development. So we've had some all of our lieutenant governors have been outstanding. They're the service to the state of Indiana, and I don't know where this bill is. The interest behind this bill is. I can tell you, if I was still a state senator, I would be a no, because I believe in the lieutenant governor's job being. I think it's good because that individual always is a talented individual, and you take the personalities out of it, what happens next? And so it'll be interesting to see if Governor-elect Braun speaks out on this and how he feels about his reconstructing state government for the next 4 years.
Yeah, you hit on a good point here, and by the way, the Bucks hate Micah Beckwith, and everybody knows that, and everybody knows the history with them. That's what this is about. It's bruised egos that the Bucks and the people that are around them and that little power structure is crumbling in front of them, and they're pissed off, and everybody knows what it is. The point that I have with this, Jim, is the people voted for Micah Beckwith. And a whole time we heard during the convention, oh, he's going to lose, and he smoked the establishment. And then we heard during the general election, oh, he's going to be a drag on the ticket. He might cost them the whole election. Braun won in a landslide. People have not voted against Micah Beckwith. They voted for Micah Beckwith in many cases, and it is utterly ridiculous that these two dinosaurs who are apparently so petty that this is what they're wasting taxpayer time on.
Well, we'll see if the bill actually gets a hearing. I'm not sure what committee it has been assigned to. I think I'm an establishment type. I'm an institutionalist, and I believe in the fabric of what the different statewide offices' responsibilities are. And I think we did a good job by taking the Secretary of Education, taking the politics out of that. And yet, I think that the Lieutenant Governor historically has played quite a role in administering the state of Indiana. And I'm really not sure what if it is Jim Buck's motivation, but we the state of Indiana expect Governor-elect Braun to fulfill his campaign promises of being more efficient and running the government like a business, and it'll be very interesting to see how he feels about this legislation.
All right, hey, before we let you get out of here, obviously the big ticket item is property taxes that everybody's talking about. Now, Nikki Kelly from the Capitol Chronicle was with us yesterday, and I'm not using verbatim the words that she said, but she got and I said, well, Braun's made it his top issue, but I don't think he's going to find that a lot of these other legislators feel the same way. And you and I have talked about this. I think I'm not sure that they're going to let an incoming governor and essentially the party, right, because he was the party's nominee and they all got behind him, his signature issue fail. Nikki Kelly seems to think that Braun's going to have some tough sledding here. What say you?
First of all, I think the budget, everybody, that building's vibrating today because they're talking about the budget with Medicaid, education funding, but property taxes, Senator Braun ran on this issue. It was at the epicenter of his campaign. I talked to him about it, and a couple times, in fact, Robert, and with Travis Holman, Senator Travis Holman, head of the tax committee in the Senate, being in charge of Senator Braun's signature issue, that will get a great deal of attention, a great deal of play, and we've spoken so many times about this being back in 2007-8 being a Central Indiana issue, but when you talk about rural, when you talk about farm property taxes, that brings them into it as well. And I'm certain that people out in rural Indiana want change in that regard as well. And so it's going to be. I disagree politely with Nikki with Capital Chronicle. She's been a great resource for her. I think this is something that is going to percolate for the next 3 months.
All right, Jim Merritt, you're the best. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
3:06 this afternoon. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show. Nigel, unless he's vacationing down at the Gulf of America, will be with us. Tony Kennett will be with us. We've got the biggest stories in Indy and a lot of laughs. 93 WIBC.
Do you have an idea for a book? Fiction, nonfiction, or a children's book? We can help you put it together and bring it to market at Dorrance Publishing. We have thousands of testimonials from people just like you that we've helped get their books sold in stores and online. We've even got a service called The Writer's Coach. It's perfect for people that have a book idea in their head and they just need someone to help them put it on paper. Dorrance Book Publishing has been helping people just like you who have a book idea, written or not, for over 100 years. Imagine being counted among the most famous authors in the world with your very own book. Call right now and let us help you turn a book idea into reality. It's easier than you think. You just need a little help. Call us now.
800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. That's 800-879-4098.
One of the real advantages that we have here at Hendricks is the scope of the services that we have to offer in orthopedics.
Whether they have a hip fracture or they're a high-functioning athlete, we're all working towards the same thing.
To have them be able to have an elective surgery safely and then go home, also in a safe fashion, is of utmost importance.
We very much want everyone to get back to doing everything that they're doing beforehand. We're really invested in it.
Unstoppable orthopedic care. Learn more at hendricks.org/ortho.
According to industry experts, heating costs are going up again this year, up to 23%. If you're tired of turning up the heat in the morning and the furnace working overtime, it's time to call Window Nation.
50% off all style of windows. Plus, you don't pay anything. No interest for 2 years. Call right now, 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com. Windownation.com. Be sure to tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here with an offer you don't want to miss. My friends at Hope Plumbing want to help their customers stay healthy by improving their water quality. Install a combo package, a new tankless reverse osmosis system, a carbon filter, and a water softener, all for $5,000. Let's face it, Indiana's water quality is pretty poor, and this water quality combo for only $5,000 can help ensure your family's drinking water is safe. Give Hope Plumbing a call or visit them online at hopeplumbing.com.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com.
You going to the Billy Joel concert?
Haven't thought about it yet.
You're an events person.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? That's coming up?
That'll be like a big sing-along, right? That's a show where you're going to know every single song.
Where are you at with that when people sing throughout the whole concert?
As long as you can hear the artist, right?
Because wasn't that the thing with Billy
Jimmy Buffett, wasn't that the thing where he didn't even have to sing anymore? And
the crowd would sing all the songs.
Let's see, what day is it? February the 8th. So you have 1 month from today.
Right.
Let's see how much tickets are going for. What is this? This page isn't working right now. Well, that's how much they're going for then. Oh, here we go. How many tickets? Do we want 2 tickets?
Yeah.
It's Billy Joel and Sting. Don't forget.
Right.
Sting, who I'm sure you find ruggedly handsome.
Yes. Well, I did. I loved the Police.
All right.
They were, in fact, my first album that I ever bought. That's right. I said album.
These aren't too bad. Section 615. Now that's a way up there seat. $44 each.
Each?
Okay. 44 each.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What am I looking? Oh, it's a price range. What if I want to do? How does this work here? I don't know if I've ever.
You know how I roll, so you're going to have to get me down closer.
All right. Okay. Okay.
I'm not going to sit in the notes, please.
All right. Very good. Section 241. That's not quite the lower level. $452 each for. Well, it's closer to the stage. Why would you be surprised by this?
Are you kidding? Nearly $500?
It's Billy Joel and Sting, Casey.
No, thank you.
Really?
No.
That's not bad.
For one ticket, $500.
It's each. Now I can get you to $500 if you want. Hang on here. Let me.
You're talking about $1,000.
All right. So let's see. So
I can just load up their songs on my Spotify.
Here we go.
Have a good time in the kitchen.
Here we go, Casey. Row 10, Section A. So you are on the floor. Billy Joel might actually be able to toss his harmonica at you. You may be able to repeatedly shout, "Play Captain Jack for Rob." $514 each.
No way. That $514.
The most expensive ticket I'm seeing here on StubHub is $600 and still going. Ooh, these aren't even all that good. Like $760 each, $800 each. So, I mean, if you want to just be in the arena, the atmosphere, that's $44 is a good price.
Night. No. I could.
You wouldn't pay $44 to be in Lucas Oil Stadium to say, I've seen Billy Joel and Sting perform live together.
$44 is
that's my point. I've laid it out for you.
$514.
There's probably something in it. What's the most you've ever paid to go to a concert?
I don't really pay that much money to go to concerts. No.
Kev,
I got into so many for free.
That's
for
true.
So long.
Oh, here we go. What a social climber you were. Kev, what's the most you've ever paid to go to a concert?
Do we count festivals?
Yes.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a ticket. What was a ticket?
Yeah, I think I probably spent $300 on a 4-day festival.
That's a good deal. What about an individual concert?
I'd probably say the most I've spent, if we're including fees.
Yeah, everything all in. What you were out the door?
Maybe $60.
Okay, that's not bad.
I did pay about $120 for a festival. It was in San Francisco for my daughter's 18th birthday.
Oh, you were trying to be cool, Mom.
Yeah,
Just go hit on a bunch of the young guys there.
No,
look at me. I look like my daughter.
Blink 182 was there. We had a good time.
Nice.
Yeah, but I typically don't like to spend a lot of money on a concert like that with all those fees and everything.
Well, but that's not too bad.
No.
I mean, what an experience to say I saw Sting and Billy Joel. This is going to, I'm not trying to kill anybody off here, but let's face it, when was the last time Billy Joel was even in Indianapolis?
Time's a wasted,
right.
You're saying?
I mean, come on. I'm tempted to pay the $44 and go.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to have to pay for parking. You can just park right here and walk on over.
$44.
Yeah. And you don't have to pay for a babysitter either because you can just
That's right.
I
might just leave my wife at home and go myself.
A little peanut over to Dad's.
We offered this as part of the radiothon that
somebody could take you.
Right. We would go to the concert if you bought the ticket.
Right.
And nobody, maybe because the tickets were $577 each.
See, if the guy who was offering to give you a ride when it snowed.
That's right.
Keith,
Kenneth.
I think it was Keith.
Was it Keith? Yeah.
Let's see if Keith would go with you.
I bet Keith would have to buy the tickets, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fair deal.
So who's opening for that? Is it Sting on stage first or is it Billy Joel?
Sting's got to be Sting's right? They're not letting Billy Joel's not opening for anyone.
I mean, you got to imagine he's going to close it out with Piano Man.
Because what is Sting going to play the Police songs, Roxanne, Fields of Gold, whatever?
He should.
Yeah.
I would think so. Did you see that Joe Rogan had a very interesting guest on his podcast?
Yes. I'm fascinated by this. We have to play some of this audio when we come back because watching Joe Rogan's mind work in real time was an incredible thing to me.
Yeah, that's on the way from 93 WIBC.
There she is, founder and CEO. High five.
Dave can't stop celebrating with every business owner in town.
All right, Baker Man, high five.
He's sharing the excitement of big savings with the Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee.
Ooh, up top, bike shop. Yeah.
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
Quick, high five.
5 years of advanced security.
5 years.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Yeah, law partners. Chamberlain, Messelthorpe, Dubois.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Switch today and get the 5-year price lock guarantee.
5 years.
It's back, but only for a limited time.
Woo!
Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
Can't forget you, voiceover guy.
Ah, thanks, Dave.
High five.
Ends 3/9/25. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-210-8808. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-210-8808. 800-210-8808. 800-210-8808.
Pat Sullivan here with Michaela of Michaelis. If you have water damage, why should you call Michaelis?
Michaelis is a local family-owned Indianapolis company with 39 years experience. On call 24/7, 365. We are IICRC certified and will restore your space to pre-loss condition or better. And we work through the entire insurance process on your behalf to make it easy.
Water, storms, fire, and mold. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIX-INDY.
So this new dose is... nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today. Today.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, what some lawmakers may look at as far as funding for IU, plus the sentences handed down for a former cop in Newcastle, and why Riley Leonard says that he is laser focused on tomorrow's big game for Notre Dame. I'm Kirk Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recycler Studios. After Fox News Radio, you're listening to 93 WYBC, WYBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
They've cut the power in parts of Southern California. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, trying to prevent even more wildfires from sparking and strong winds. Many power lines have already burned down as 3 blazes rage out of control.
This is a dynamic and dangerous fire that is continuing to grow.
We do have many structures damaged and destroyed, but we're not able to quantify that at this time.
Los Angeles fire spokeswoman Margaret Stewart, tens of thousands of people evacuated.
We live in a dream community, which unfortunately doesn't exist, I think, anymore.
Rachel Darvish fled in Pacific Palisades, tells Fox from hotel getting out was chaos.
Just people were getting out of their cars to run away from the fire.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt standing near a house that burned down.
This one on the corner of Sunset Boulevard, the iconic Sunset Boulevard that runs to, from, and through the Pacific Palisades.
The fire's torched about 3,000 acres and counting.
It doesn't look like firefighters really have much of a grip on the fire itself. As I look down the street here, I can see in the distance more and more homes burning. At the moment, this remains, while they're trying to save any property they can, but their biggest priority right now is saving lives.
President-elect Trump not giving up fighting his New York convictions on falsifying business records. He's long called a witch hunt.
Trump's lawyers already busy this morning filing an emergency petition with the U.S. Supreme Court to block his sentencing in his New York criminal trial set for Friday, which, if that doesn't happen, he will have to appear virtually or in person.
Fox's Nate Foy near the Trump estate in West Palm Beach, Florida. Later today, the president-elect will gather with Republican senators at the Capitol, where Fox's Aisha Hasni reports.
They're all on the same page. They all had the same agenda, Trump's agenda. They just don't know how to get there, which path to take. So tonight might be an attempt to get the president-elect to make a decision for them.
He wants one big budget reconciliation bill for his agenda that Democrats can't filibuster. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They may pull funding. Radar is clear. It's mostly cloudy and 21 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Some lawmakers want to completely pull state dollars away from Indiana University. The issue is that IU has not severed ties with the Kinsey Institute. That's a research center on human sexuality that has been highly criticized for years. The state's legislative session begins today. 12 years behind bars for a former Newcastle cop found guilty of abusing people in custody. Sasha Nixon reports.
According to the Department of Justice, Aaron Strong intentionally used excessive force on multiple occasions during his time with the Newcastle Police Department. For example, Strong repeatedly hit a surrendered suspect with a baton, stomped on an inmate's head at the Henry County Jail, and shot another inmate with a pellet, fracturing that inmate's spine. He was convicted in October. Sasha Nixon, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Indigo is getting nearly $150 million from the U.S. Department of Transportation in support of the Blue Line. Construction starts this year, and the Blue Line is supposed to be open by 2028. Animal neglect is what police say was happening at a home in Evansville Monday.
10-1-2, shots fired. Hey, come here, man.
That's body camera footage from when an Evansville police officer shot and killed the dog that police say was charging at him and acting aggressively. The dog later died. On Tuesday, police said the owner has been charged with animal neglect. Animal Control says that they had previously responded to the owner's home 16 times. With 2 postseason wins under their belt, Notre Dame quarterback Riley Leonard says that their upcoming matchup with Penn State feels like nothing new.
We have able to experience a bowl game already, right? We hosted one at home, and then we went to the Sugar Bowl, and now we're here. So we've been kind of through this once already, and we kind of get how things work.
They take on the Nittany Lions in the Orange Bowl tomorrow in Miami. The winner advances to the championship game of the college football playoff. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Harvey, this African safari is great. We planned just right, so we'll be home for this weekend's Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show out the fairgrounds. Yeah, we were smart to get outfitted for this here safari at the last gun show. Got big game rifles, scopes, custom-loaded bullets, crossbows, knives, even a GPS. Hey, what's that sound? Oh, bet he's after cheetahs. What, Harv? No, he's not with the IRS, you dumb bunny. You hear that? That's a rogue bull elephant, and he's starting to charge. Oh, I missed. What do we do, Harvey? Think outside the box. Well, I did. I just got a bullet out of the box. Give me my crossbow. Well, got him. Yep, he looks pretty sharp in his arrow shirt. What? He's still charging? Well, dang, Harvey, do something. Wow, with only a knife. How did you stop that elephant from charging? Oh, you just cut up his credit cards.
Celebrity voice and imaginary character impersonated. The Indy 1500 Gun, Knife, and Outdoor Show this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the State Fairgrounds.
Hey, you nip it!
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Well, good morning. It is Wednesday, January 8th, 5 minutes after 10 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. We have a new #1 podcast to start the year of 2025. The podcast, The Rosary in a Year, has reached #1 on Apple Podcasts, and it has surpassed top shows, including Joe Rogan's podcast, which comes and goes at #1 often.
The what? What's the name of the podcast?
It's called The Rosary in a Year.
What's it about?
It is about the Rosary. It's hosted by Father Ames, and he helps people say the Rosary during his podcast.
And that's #1.
That is #1. It's a faith-based media. And is that becoming more mainstream? We have to talk about this. But first, let's take a listen.
We're going to pray the Rosary for our own growing in love of it. But also there's this, I feel like this is, in many times in generations, this is the answer to the needs and sort of the brokenness of the world. It's like, hey, let's just get back to the basics. Let's pray. Let's go to Our Lady. Let's go to our Lord, etc.
Now, Father Ames described the Rosary as the great remedy of our time, and he says that it has a special grace from God that unlocks spiritual work, especially through the intercession of Mary.
Well, look, Rogan's obviously a podcasting juggernaut, and there are tens of millions of people every single week who download his program, and that's interesting that he has been dethroned, for lack of a better term, and that it was, of all things, by a faith-based podcast.
Well, that happens occasionally. I think if you look over the long term, Joe Rogan remains at the top. You had Kylie Kelsey, who had a podcast.
No, this is the wife of of Travis Kelsey's brother,
Jason Kelsey, correct.
Yes.
So
she was #1.
She was #1 when she debuted, and then she fell off. But it is.
How did that happen?
Well, 1 week's interest, right?
Who is the person who was like, oh my gosh, Travis Kelsey's brother's wife has a podcast? Let me run right out there and listen to that.
People in Philadelphia that made her #1 for a week. But then it's somebody like Joe Rogan who maintains that status of being #1 or the most listened to podcast over a long time.
You know what's super interesting, and we were talking about this during the break, is that Rogan, and I asked Kevin about this because Kevin is the resident weekly Rogan listener. You don't hear him talk, at least it doesn't make the rounds a lot, about his faith. And so I was asking you, is he an atheist? And you and Casey were saying, no, he's agnostic.
Yeah, he's raised Catholic, and then I guess he probably got away from the church and just became agnostic.
So agnostic is you're in, for lack of a better term, you're indifferent, you're open to, you could be swayed on anything. Is that what that means?
Yeah, I think it just means you believe the general idea of a God existing, but you're not really following an actual organized religion.
Okay. So the reason we're setting this up is he had this guy, Wesley Huff, I think is the guy's name. And he's what they call, now I think this is sort of a misleading title. His title is he's called an apologist.
Yeah, that's what it is. But a religious apologist is somebody who tries to provide believers with rational justification for their belief.
I just think that's a misleading, because I listened to this guy talk, and so my wife and I were talking about this last night, and I was like, what? I've never heard that phrase before. And she was telling me what it was, and I said, well, that's kind of misleading, because an apologist you'd think like is somebody who
is apologizing.
Right, or give excuses or whatever. This guy's not doing that. He's giving historically based factual content for why the Christian faith is correct, and he tracks factual things that were happening throughout the history of the Christian faith and why they give validity to the things that are written in the Bible, etc., being accurate. That's way different than like when I think of somebody who's apologizing for something.
Well, the word apologist, it comes from the Greek word apologia, which means speaking in defense, and that's pretty much what in the Catholic Church, pretty much everybody is an apologist. They're defending their faith.
Yeah.
And so that's where it comes from.
Is the Catholic faith still the world's largest religion, or is that Islam? Because the Catholic faith,
I believe it's still.
Is it still Catholicism?
Yeah.
Okay. Because at one point I know it was, and then I didn't know if it still is. But obviously that would explain why that podcast is the most listened to podcast, or was for weeks or whatever, the most listened to podcast in the world. But the point is, so this guy Wesley Huff, he's on with Rogan, and they get into this conversation about faith and about the Christian faith, and we're going to play two clips from this. One, and I texted you this, I said, we have to play this. It's longer than we would normally play, so we're going to break it up into two clips. But what's interesting to me is watching Joe Rogan.
You can see the wheels spinning.
Yeah, in real time. And as someone who is a devout believer in the Christian faith, I think about the power of if Joe Rogan actually, would openly come out, because Rogan seems to be while he's into the conspiracy theorists or whatever, he does always with his guests, and Kev, back me up on this, he does seem to always work through in a logical fashion his belief system. He seems to almost second guess himself through his guests in real time.
Yeah, true. He's just working through it.
So I'm thinking the power of if Joe Rogan were to come out in open support of Christian faith, the impact that could have on the world, and seeing this guy essentially make the wheels turn in real time for Rogan.
Well, I think what you have here is Joe Rogan grew up in the Catholic Church, and he says he's agnostic now. Other people could say that his faith is in a dormant state.
Right.
But what an apologist does is they help provide intellectual security or reassurance, almost like proof of your faith, which is a hard thing to do because you're talking about faith.
Right.
And so it's almost like everything that he learned as a child, his podcast guest is bringing back to him and saying, this is the proof that you needed. This is the reassurance you were looking for as a child.
We've got two clips. Let's play the first one.
Changes the course of human history. This thing changes the direction, the ideology that these people subscribe to, and the moral and ethical structure that they live their life by. It changes untold billions of human beings from that point on.
Yeah.
Pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
That in itself, even if this is just a revelation without a divine interaction, that's a miracle.
Yeah.
It's a miracle that it was created at all. Like the whole idea that Christianity, when you're saying that the book of, was it the book of Isaiah?
Yeah.
That the same book is exactly the same as, that's a miracle.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
If you just imagine the sheer number of illiterate people, the sheer number of days that have to go by where people are telling the story exactly the same, and that it's entrusted in the hands of these very few people that are so dedicated to it that they get the exact words right 1,000 years later, pretty bananas.
Well, I mean, that is kind of the crazy thing about Christianity, where you have this Jewish itinerant guy who's walking around first century Roman-occupied Judea. He's making some pretty audacious claims to be God himself, and then he predicts his own death and resurrection. And then his disciples they think it's over. They're like, he's dead, we're done.
Yeah.
And then they go from 11, scared men, because Judas commits suicide, scared men in an upper room, to completely overhauling the Roman world in only a couple hundred years, because of this claim that they say they saw Jesus resurrected. There's something different that goes on there, that they're like, this is a miracle, right? Dead people don't usually rise from the dead.
And it's there's obviously a video component to this as well, and you can see Rogan as he's talking to this guy, where he's saying, okay, this dude has figured out a way to speak my language,
right,
and is actually making him, you can see, more open to the idea of going, yeah, wait a second, there were all of these people, there were fact checkers of the day, there were people looking to dispel what at the time was essentially the Jewish faith, and yet nobody did it. Nobody did it. Nobody refutes. And the amount of biblical prophecies that Christ fulfilled It is statistically impossible for a normal human to have fulfilled the numerous amount of statistical biblical prophecies that Jesus Christ came and conquered. I mean, it's simply unbelievable. And this guy, to his credit, is finding a way to explain this to Joe Rogan, where he's like, yeah, you're right.
To make him believe. Well, originally Rogan thought that Jesus may not have actually died on the cross. And instead, he proposed this idea where Jesus survived the ordeal. And then when he appeared to his disciples, wasn't risen from the dead, not resurrected, was just that he was still living from the previous incident. And he actually cited, I don't know if you remember the story about the guy who doctors thought he had passed away and they were going to start to harvest his organs, but he was actually alive. And they stopped because the guy was still alive. That was what Rogan was saying originally, like, okay, maybe Jesus didn't die, and he was still alive when he came to the apostles. But then when Wesley Huff, this apologist, came on and started talking with him about what we've all heard and been read and told from the Bible, he believes, because he's pointing out, has this been a game of telephone for thousands of years that nobody is refuted?
Yeah, let's I want to address that in a second, but here's the second part of this clip.
It's very difficult for anybody who thinks of themselves as an intelligent person who's secular to even entertain the possibility that someone died and come back to life.
And I get that. But we've already talked about the fact that we don't think that the only thing that exists is matter and motion. We as in you and I, right? Like, we believe that there's something else going on in this world that's a little bit crazy.
There's something else.
And that to, I think, exclude that, I think excludes something that you're kind of putting blinders on. For. And you do have, I mean, you're right in terms of all of these ancient conventions and the ways that things were spread around. But the Gospels are written in the lifetime of the eyewitnesses. And they're written in this period of time where you have groups of individuals who could have fact-checked those things. So
how do you fact-check someone coming back from the dead?
Well, how
many people saw his body, right?
Well, Paul says that 400 people saw him all at once.
400 people saw the crucifixion?
No, saw the resurrected Jesus. Yeah, 1 Corinthians 15.
So here's I've pondered this a lot over the last couple of years about what life is like for people who walk through it without any faith. And I wonder, with all the miracles, including your own life itself, that is around you and in front of you, how any person, given the daily evidence, I mean, it all just worked? Like, it all just works properly? Like, I pondered this throughout my wife's entire pregnancy. Like, how does the baby know? How does it know all of these things? You think it just imagined it up? It just worked accidentally? Human life itself, the birth itself. How does the baby know when to come out? All of these things that are right in front of you, is it tangible physical evidence you can hold? No, but it's a pretty empty and, quite frankly, I think somewhat arrogant existence to think this all just magically glued together somehow.
I think it's fascinating that Joe Rogan wants to try and fact check something that we were not there. This happened thousands of years ago. You did not see it with your own eyes. You can't possibly go back in time to fact check it. But it's a story that hasn't changed, and that is the essence of faith, Rob.
Yeah.
That is it.
Look, I
believe.
I thought this was a great interview. I thought it was a fascinating discussion, and we just wanted to play a couple parts of it. Because, look, faith is the basis of, we always try to kind of lead the opening segment of the hour with a big news story. And is this like earth-shattering news, this discussion? No. But I think our faith, I know, our faith is our entire existence of man. And if there is no God, if there is no higher being, then what are we all doing here? What are we all living for anyway? What is any of it all about? And so that's a pretty big story, right?
It is a very big story. And if you look at it from the media landscape, the fact that Joe Rogan, top podcaster of all time, has somebody like Wesley Huff on his show, and it's garnering so much attention. You have to wonder now, is faith and religion becoming mainstream again?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Thousands of people had to evacuate fast in Los Angeles County.
Another update is just minutes away.
Fires moving so fast and just exploding because of the wind. 3 wildfires rage out of control, spread by hurricane-force wind gusts.
Get the facts.
Snow is in the forecast for Friday.
Not just the talking points.
1 to 2 inches expected. Temperatures will drop into the single digits overnight.
On the level.
Shane Steichen.
Start, looking at the draft.
On the go.
Legislative session kicks off today.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Are you ready to take control of your safety? Premier Arms is the place to consider, and they're more than just a gun store. They're a community for empowered women dedicating to helping you find the perfect firearm. Hey, it's Casey Daniels. That's how I felt when I shopped at Premier Arms. I asked them a lot of questions, and you know what? They treated me with respect. If you're curious, go to Premier Arms in Brownsburg. They're also online, premierarms.com. Their phone number, 317-858-3030.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick. Soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Hammer and Nigel here. It's a new year. Time to keep that promise of getting your testosterone levels checked. Lacking energy, muscle mass, or have low libido? Could be low T. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, may be the answer. Nobody matches the experts at Low T Center. And don't settle for a standard dosage TRT plan.
For current patients, Low T Center offers $150 referral credits when you refer a new patient. LowTCenter.com to book that appointment right now. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
B is offering 1 bath remodel for as low as $99 a month, or get 2 bath remodels for as low as $249 a month. Call now to schedule that free in-home design consultation.
It is bad news for home buyers, especially in the Northeast and also in the Midwest, specifically here in Indy. Housing market remains competitive, and let's see here. Buffalo, New York, predicted to be the hottest market. Buffalo, New York.
Why?
Huh? Yeah, a 3% home price increase expected in 2025, and that's after a 6% rise last year. So you're talking almost a 10% increase in the price of a house in Buffalo, New York. But guess what? Cities like Indy, Providence, Hartford, Philadelphia, they're also expected to see home prices rise by 3 to 4% this year.
The housing, and we got into this, I guess, with Jerry, with Spanglish last week. So the days all run together this time of year, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got into this with talking about the automobile industry and the unpredictability of that. And I think the same thing kind of applies to the housing industry right now. And we need to get Mark Dietl back on to talk about this. You know, in the stock market, they always tell you that stock market knows how to deal with good news and they know how to deal with bad news. They're never too high, they're never too low. The people that are in that game accept that those things are going to happen. What the market doesn't deal with, and when you see huge swings in the market, is uncertainty. And the housing market, much like the automobile industry, because we got into, with the electric cars and Tesla not doing well and, the uncertainty of that. The housing market seems to be a lot like that right now, too. Because on one hand, you have a cooled down ability to buy in the sense of they have raised the interest rates to the point where they should be. I mean, let's just be honest. The interest rates should be where they are now. Buying houses, buying big purchases should not be an easy thing. You should have to earn the ability to do that. You should be worthy of doing that. Money should not be cheap. And yet, we got so addicted and invested to quote-unquote cheap money during the COVID stuff that people who had no business being in homes are in homes above their, probably largely above their means, save for what the price of the money was. Well, now they're stuck because you're not selling that home what you were buying it at with cheap money. Because it's right, like there's two components, obviously, most of our audience knows this, to buying a house, right? It's the interest rate and the price of the house. Well, price of houses went up, but because money was so cheap, it was an evening out, or even better than when a house is cheaper but the interest rate is higher. Well, if you're stuck in that house, bank's not going to let you sell the house for less than you owe on it. So people are stuck. And the other problem became that the market was sucked up because these rich, powerful mega corporations took all that cheap money and were able to do huge purchases, which flushed other younger potential buyers out of the market who are now relegated to apartment living, and they can't afford to get in a house because the interest rate's rising.
Well, and you've also got these existing homeowners that have the lower mortgage rates. They're not going to be selling, right? Because they're not going to turn around and pay a higher rate. So that leads to more shortage of homes. So some of the cities where you might be more lucky, New Orleans, San Francisco, San Jose, and Austin, they say the demand is lower there.
I wonder, too, because this is one of the conversations, one of these people who's invested in how many high-density housing developments can we build on every street corner, apparently found my social media somehow, and we had I don't know if you've seen this, we had a little spirited back and forth with this fine, upstanding member of society, and his answer to everything was, well, housing prices would go down if we just had more housing developments approved. And you're sitting there going, so in your world, the government screwed it up, the government created the problem, and the only answer I'm supposed to accept now is to totally radically change the community I live in by dumping as many apartment complexes and high-density housing developments as I possibly can. I'm supposed to accept that solution to forever change my community because the government ruined everything by printing money like it was going out of style and trying to cover for the fact that they destroyed an economy by basically handing money out for free.
Do you ever get texts from, I don't know, I guess they're home buyers? Like, I get these all the time. Hi, this is Chase. Are you interested in selling your, and they list the address.
Do you ever respond?
If so, how much do you need for it?
Do you respond?
I have in the past.
Do you ever get a response to your response?
Yes.
Really?
So I've gone way high in the past to see what they come back at.
Yeah.
And one time it was like, oh, that's that's more than what the market will bear. And then this time I replied and they said, well, can you tell me what kind of condition is it in? Has the home been updated or renovated recently? Any repairs or attention it might need? I said, no repairs needed.
Basically brand new.
Right. Great. When was the last time the property was evaluated? They're asking about property taxes there.
Right. So, look, the housing market is a real, and we need to get Mark Dietel back on to talk about this, a real minefield right now because the government, and again, this is another example of the government ruining everything it touches. It created, it mirrors everything they did during COVID. Hey, we can shut down society and you won't feel any pain because we're going to make money super cheap. Will there be any ramifications for this? Well, no. Why would there be any ramifications for this? Well, if you could get in at the right time and you don't mind living in your house for 2 decades, yeah, you're probably going to be okay. But if you're a person who couldn't get in, or you're a person who needs to be mobile and move, good luck.
Yeah, it's rough out there. We do have a couple voicemails. We'll get to those coming up from 93 WIBC.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
California burning. It's mostly cloudy, 21 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. 3 wildfires are causing thousands in Southern California to have to evacuate. The Palisades fire has burned roughly 3,000 acres around the Pacific Palisades, New Malibu area after breaking out yesterday. The Eaton fire has burned over 2,200 acres near Pasadena. President Biden says he thinks he could have beaten Donald Trump had he stayed in the race. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
President Biden says if you look around the world, quote, almost every democracy out there lost this time. The president making the comments during an interview with USA Today when asked why he thinks Democrats lost so much support this election cycle. The president blaming negative news coverage, asking, quote, do you ever see any good news? And saying, quote, the mindset we're in, it seems like you get no click unless there's something negative. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. You know it's still Obamacare, right? We've recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news. We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes with 2 of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what the heck do you have to lose? We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
Call Ron or Terry at 317-563-0868. That's 317-563-0868. Or go to rragency.org. That's rragency.org. A health plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
Nearly 7 decades ago, the Kingston Trio emerged from San Francisco's North Beach club scene to introduce the sounds of folk music into the mainstream.
When will they ever learn? And I don't give a damn about a green Macadam.
Re-experience the music that ushered in an American folk revival for one show only, 7 p.m. January 11th at the Tarkington Theater, Center for the Performing Arts. The Kingston Trio. Tickets and more information at kingstontrio.com.
In life and in high school sports, the most talented person doesn't always win.
And the most successful people are not always the most gifted. I'm Owen Fouts from Yorktown High School.
And I'm Lena Jones from Plymouth High School. More often than not, success requires being what other people are unwilling to be.
Consistent, disciplined, persistent, without taking shortcuts.
It's often the most dedicated, hardest working person or team that rises to the top.
The ones who run extra drills, who stay late in the weight room, who put in time after practice.
They say hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And those who rise to the challenge are met with the greatest rewards.
I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty. Support the hard work of our student athletes by buying a ticket to your school's athletic events. Thank you for being a champion of high school sports. This is consistency and commitment. This is discipline and dedication. This is your IHSAA.
B is offering 1 bath remodel for as low as $99 a month or get 2 bath remodels for as low as $249 a month. Call now to schedule that free in-home design consultation.
Thinning hair? This year, grow your hair back like I did. Call 317-522-2995 or visit WeGrowHairIndy.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails.
The phone number, 317-684-8444. If you'd like to get involved, give us your questions, comments, smart remarks in voicemails. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And this first one comes from Tom. We love when Tom calls, which he does often. He's got a way for you to win the Sagamore of the Wabash Award,
exciting.
Rob, and it has to do with a rebate on property taxes.
Good morning, Rob and Casey. Rob, we won't guarantee that you get that Sagamore of the Wabash Award, and here's where I'm coming from on this. One thing they need to do on this thing, and I want our governor-elect to take care of this and do it. Let's go ahead, because we're paying property taxes on last year's assessments. Let's go ahead and give rebate to the taxpayers on each individual partial. Let's make this between 10 and 15%. What the heck? Let's go in the middle and make it 12.5%. And the rebate can either be in a check or it can be on a solid tax credit and refund on next year's on the 2026 taxes for the state of Indiana. I think this would be a great idea. The taxpayers would revel around this and really enjoy it. So, Rob, rebate on the property taxes, each partial of 12.5% to all the taxpayers to help them out during these rough times that we have right now.
Well, Tom, Christmas is over. You had your opportunity to get your wish list in, and you're about a couple weeks behind. I mean, look, here's the reality is that these lawmakers, many of them don't want any part of this because they don't want to have to deal with the headache that is the angry red-shirted teachers and the township trustees and these goofy mayors. And here's the firm facts that you're going to hear when Braun rolls out his property tax plan, and that is that local governments across this state are sitting on something like $12 billion in reserves. $12 billion is what local governments collectively across this state have in their reserves. The Braun plan is going to cost, air quote, because it's our money. It's our money to begin with, so it doesn't cost anything. But let's say it's going to cost local governments $900 million. Well, if you have $12 billion, that's a pretty bold thing to say we can't absorb $900 million of the $12 billion-ish that we're sitting on. I mean, local governments genuinely believe that your money is their money, that they're entitled to a portion of your home. They had nothing to do with you buying it. They have nothing to do with you maintaining it, but they genuinely believe that yours is theirs. And there's a lot of lawmakers who don't want any part of this, and if they go, they're going to go kicking and screaming, and we got to make them kick and we got to make them scream.
Kevin, do we have that clip? It was from yesterday. We were going to play it. This came from North Carolina. And to your point, Rob, this is an official confirming that they're not going to be waiving or reducing the property taxes in that state for homes that don't even exist anymore.
Yeah, so these are one of these communities, these counties that were hit by, it was Helene, right?
Right, Hurricane Helene.
Was the Hurricane Helene. And obviously, like any other state, their property taxes are coming due. By the way, I've paid property tax in the state of North Carolina. You think they're bad here? It's ridiculous what you pay there as well, probably even worse than what you pay here. And these homes have been, in many cases, either washed away or destroyed to where they're uninhabitable. No one would, of course, buy them or anything else. And this local official came out. Do we have this clip, Kev? Came out and just basically said, eat crap and die. Your taxes are still due at the same time.
As a reminder, today is the last day to pay your property tax bill before it becomes delinquent. Please note that North Carolina law does not permit property tax waivers or exceptions for natural disasters, including Hurricane Helene. For assistance, contact the tax department at 828-250-4910. Or you can visit them in person.
Okay.
At 94.
So you get the idea. Like for assistance, I need assistance that I don't have a home.
Right. Your house has been washed away, but guess what? Taxes are due by midnight.
Look, and I said this on Twitter at Rob M. Kendall. Government is evil. It's pure evil. What government is doing to those people is pure evil. What it's doing to regular people in this state is pure evil. Government has no business having a forever lien on your home. They had nothing to do with you buying it. The local governments. They have no business being able to lord over you your entire life. That is your property. And the fact that there are so many Republicans who apparently think the government should have some forever claim to your property is really disturbing.
And if the counties have $12 billion, yeah, they can afford the cost of the $9 million.
Now, maybe I'm saying too much, revealing too much information, but I think that that's relevant to. The person who told me that didn't tell me not to tell anyone. And I think pretty much, if you tell me something and, if you tell me not to tell, you can vault it away that I won't tell it. But if you don't tell me not to tell and you're telling it to me, I think you want it told. And so I think that's the plan that they're going to roll out and basically say, okay, local governments, you tell us why you think you're entitled to sit on $12 billion.
So members of Congress, the Supreme Court, other people gathered at the U.S. Capitol for the lying in state ceremony that's taking place for former President Jimmy Carter. Kamala Harris, she delivered one of the eulogies. Of course, Carter died on December 29th at the age of 100. We were talking about it, and you had mentioned something about, him being an awful president, and why do we have to have this? I think you said something like 10 days of funeral or a month long.
Well, the flags are supposed to be flown at half-staff for a month.
Yeah.
And this is like this like Kiss never-ending farewell tour with Jimmy Carter.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my question is, okay, you know the rule on this show, Casey.
Mm-hmm. Say what you'll say about me in death as you do in life.
Right. And this is my rule for me. When my time has come, I want people to say exactly what they thought of me in death as they did in life. Don't lie, don't sugarcoat it. Jimmy Carter was a horrible president. Jimmy Carter did immense damage to this country and the citizens in it during his presidency. And my question is, outside of saying, hey, thanks for your service, what, you tried? I mean, why do we do this? Why do we act like this guy didn't run this country into the ground? He was president during one of the darkest, most awful times in the history of this country. He, on almost any intellectually honest list, is one of the top 5 worst presidents of all time. And yet we're giving him this grand farewell tour. Look, I'm sorry to his family. He was, by all accounts, a very nice guy and a good father and grandfather and everything else. But there's lots of people who are good fathers and grandfathers, and they didn't run the country into the ground. And we don't fly flags at half-staff for a month for them. We don't give them a 8-city farewell tour. I mean, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, look at Iran. We're still seeing repercussions from his presidency.
Why won't anybody say this? Why are we the
today?
only ones who say it, Casey? Why does everybody else just go, oh, this is fine? Why are we the only ones who say that? You know everybody else thinks this. You know people are thinking, like, really, I have to fly my flag at half-staff? By the way, does everybody have to? That's just a government thing, right? Like, I'm not obligated to fly my flag at half-staff. Holcomb can't tell me what to do with my flag.
Well, I mean,
Come at me, bro.
he can make
Come at me, bro.
suggestions, right?
He can make all the suggestions he wants, but he can't order me to do anything, can he?
He can't. He has ordered you to do things.
Well, I'm
actually.
saying when it comes to my flag, my flag, my choice, right? Isn't that the saying?
Yeah. Here's a phone call about Jimmy Carter.
I heard some of your remarks this morning concerning former United States President Jimmy Carter and his accomplishments. And you also mentioned that politicians many times leave office with being much more financially secure than when they entered. And wanted to point out that Jimmy Carter left his presidency in deep debt.
So clearly, he was bad at his finances, both the country's and his personal.
Look, it's fine to acknowledge the guy was the president, and there is a certain level of respect that comes with it. But I said the same thing about, this is not a partisan thing. I said the thing about the John McCain funeral of Palooza when that took place. It is ridiculous. We treat these people like we wonder why politicians treat us the way they do. Look at how we treat them. He worked for us, and he did a crappy job working for us. He did a horrible job.
And he was fired because of it.
Right,
He did not win.
Thank you.
He did not win re-election.
One of the great landslides in American history, defeated only by the landslide of the next guy that ran against Reagan. And yet, we are treating this person as though a king has passed away, and you wonder why these people get these God complexes where they look down upon us. Casey, Holcomb is handing out rewards to his buddies that they don't deserve, and I have an issue with that, and I'd like to discuss when we come back.
Yeah, Sagamore, the Wabashes are being handed out. Are you on the list? We'll talk about it coming up from 93 WIBC.
Hey, Casey.
Yeah, Rob.
Did you know the Social Security Trust Fund is expected to run out of money in less than 10 years?
That can't possibly be true. I've heard nothing about this.
It's almost as if our lawmakers are deceiving us. And according to Barron's, an average couple could lose up to $16,500 every year in Social Security income.
If you multiply that by 10 or 20 years, Rob, it could easily end up to be hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That's why it's critical. You have the right strategy to file for Social Security.
Discover how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits. And this happens with a free customized Social Security analysis. You know who it's from? It's from Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy.
We trust Bill, and you can too if you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security. Schedule your free analysis now by calling.
That number, 317-932-9912. It's 317 317-932-9912. That's Bill Demery, your retirement guy, at 317-932-9912.
3:06 this afternoon. It's the Hammer and Nigel show. Nigel, unless he's vacationing down at the Gulf of America, will be with us. Tony Kennett will be with us. We've got the biggest stories in Indy and a lot of laughs. 93 WIBC.
I'm Jeff Jr., founder and CEO of Trajan Wealth. I was born and raised in northern Wisconsin by both my father, who owned a small 10-lane bowling alley, and my mother, who was a nurse, who did her best caring for everyone in our small town. My parents stressed with me that if you were going to do anything, it needed to be done right or not done at all. I later joined the Marine Corps, where additional values were instilled. Values like honor, courage, and commitment. The motto of the Marine Corps, Semper Fi, which means always faithful. The best part of Trajan Wealth, our 100-plus employees who also embrace the exact same values. If your current financial advisor is more interested in selling you something or is more loyal to their own financial gain than yours, give us a call for a second opinion. We would be honored to hear from you. Call Trajan today, 317-480-4040. That's 317-480-4040.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Life Church. We talk a lot on this program about the amazing impact that Life Church had on my life and what a difference it made. And right now, Life Church is in the middle of something pretty special. It's the 21 Days of Prayer. It's every weeknight, 6:30 at any of their campuses, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, or Pendleton. If you are in need of prayer or there's someone you would like to pray for, this might be a great opportunity for you to be around like-minded people. Prayer is powerful. Prayer works. And Life Church wants to make it easy for you this January with their 21 Days of Prayer. Learn more about everything on the web at lifechurchin.com.
It's like being trapped in a cage. And I know that sounds dramatic, but your breathing triangle problem has got you trapped. And once you're freed, you're going to be able to live the life that you're missing out on. Now, this can simply mean experiencing the true pleasure of breathing freely. It will mean better sleep and more energy. And the worry of this problem anymore affecting your life is going to be gone. Because in almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it's a one and done. Because we're not in the business of delivering Band-Aids. We want to fix your nasal breathing problem for good. We don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
Isn't it time you break free from that cage? Take the next step. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
So this new dose is... nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Hammer and Nigel here. It's a new year. Time to keep that promise of getting your testosterone levels checked. Lacking energy, muscle mass, or have low libido? Could be low T. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, may be the answer. Nobody matches the experts at Low T Center. And don't settle for a standard dosage TRT plan.
For current patients, Low T Center offers $150 referral credits when you refer a new patient. LowTCenter.com to book that appointment right now. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
The Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show is this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. For hunting, sporting, and personal protection gear, visit the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
I feel the earth move.
These politicians ruin everything, Casey. They ruin everything.
What are you talking about, Rob?
What are you talking about this
something
time?
specific?
Holcomb, High Tax, and Pence have totally bastardized the Sagamore, the Wabash, and they've gutted all the meaning out of it. And now when I finally get one, it's like the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know, they've started letting anybody in, and now they've just depleted the meaning of
dilutes it
of the award. So for those of you who don't know this, we joke about this a lot on the show. Look, I'm never getting a Sagamore the Wabash. These people would assume light me on fire as give me any sort of recognition. So our longstanding joke on this program, both when the other blonde lady was here and now Casey, is no one's more deserving of a Sagamore than me. And people, we have some people who take our show way too serious and are like, he's so jealous. The envy is oozing from him. And we've turned that into a fun little bit for the people with any common sense on this program over the years. But the reality is the Sagamore the Wabash is one of, if not the highest honor. You know, there's a Sachem Award too, which I think is technically above that. But most associated is the Sagamore the Wabash. It's the highest honor bestowed upon people in our state.
The governor reserves the Sagamore for those who have gone above and beyond.
Right. So pre-Pence and Holcomb just handing these things out to their buddies and their political cronies and people they like personally, it used to go to the most distinguished among us.
Well, you're talking about astronauts, presidents, ambassadors.
People who have served the state in a distinguished capacity. I have a dear, dear friend, friend of my father's for many, many years, who was a high-ranking official at the Department of Corrections for 40 plus years, did a phenomenal job. Somebody like that is somebody you would give a Sagamore of the Wabash to. Somebody who has served, gone above and beyond either the state or their community or whatever in a capacity that far exceeds any sort of expectation. And under Pence and now under Holcomb, it has just started. All these political people are getting these Sagamores of the Wabash, and it's utterly ridiculous that a politician would get a Sagamore of the Wabash. And in this case, I just saw like Mike Kreider, who represents, I think it's Hancock and Shelby counties in the Senate. He's been there for 12 years or whatever. And it's like, you're a senator. You're paid $70,000-ish a year. That is your reward from the taxpayers. Politicians are it's supposed to go to the best among us. Politicians are the worst among us. And I see all these politicians getting these Sagamores, and it happened 200 pence. And it is like, you are diluting what this award means. You're ruining it for the people who actually earned it. And you're just handing it out to these people who have done nothing other than suck money out of the taxpayers.
Jealous. So what did he get the award for?
Existing?
Yeah.
Breathing? I don't know. Effectively grifting for 12 years off the tax? I don't know. I mean, you're a lawmaker. Your job is to show up for 2 or 3 months out of the year. And
you get a paycheck for that.
I don't know why you would give it to a lawmaker. There's zero reason. The reward, your reward for being an elected person
is being a public servant?
Yeah. You get the money, which a lot of these people are clearly all about the money based on the fact that they keep giving themselves raises, right? And 2, you get the honor of being able to make decisions that affect the entire state of Indiana. And yet, I mean, I'm amazed at the cronyism, both under Pence and now under Holcomb, that has taken place, where they just keep giving these awards out to people who have no business whatsoever getting these awards. And I saw somebody the other day, this is my second Sagamore of the Wabash, totally political insider person. Why do you need 2 of them? What, the first one wasn't good enough? There are so many people out there who have done such great work for Indiana, for their communities, for the state, who don't get any recognition whatsoever, because now this is just becoming largely politically connected award.
So it is award season. You know who else got an award?
Oh, no.
Suzanne Crouch.
Oh, of course she did.
She got the Sentinel of the Vault Award.
The what? That's not even a real thing.
Sentinel of the Vault Award.
That's a made-up thing. You're lying to our audience right now.
No, I'm not. The
Sentinel of the Vault?
Yes, Sentinel of the Vault. It came from the state treasurer, who we like. But he awarded Suzanne Crouch for her dedication to safeguarding Indiana's finances and creating opportunities for Hoosiers.
Wait. Kev, how long do we have? What time we got to be out of here? How long do I have?
About a minute.
Oh, you got to move something around here. I'm going to need more than a minute. Wait a second. He gave for what? He gave her award for doing what?
For her dedication to safeguarding Indiana's finances and creating opportunities for Hoosiers.
The woman who voted for one massive tax increase after another, voted for one massive budget increase after another. The woman who wholeheartedly supported the governor as he shut the state down and put 1 million plus people out of work and closed tens of thousands of businesses. She was what was the description?
Sentinel of the Vault Award.
Yeah, what's
the woman who stayed silent during COVID was awarded for creating opportunities for Hoosiers.
So Dan Elliott is right in with Holcomb and the rest of these people. Just giving it out to his stooge friends, just handing them out to Susan Crouch is the last person who should get an award from anyone. I'm so disappointed in Daniel Elliott. I cannot believe he would do this. He should be ashamed of himself giving that woman an award. The only reason she would get anything is for being a crony and a stooge. My gosh, Casey. Okay, Kev, you can go to break now.
He called it a well-deserved recognition.
Daniel Elliott you should be ashamed of yourself, Daniel. Ashamed. I'm not even kidding. That's gross. That's gross.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
The holidays are over, and the new year is here, making it the perfect time to think about the future. More specifically, it's the perfect time to think about your financial future. Right now, Howard Bailey Financial is offering a free retirement toolkit, a comprehensive guide designed to help you plan, save, and jumpstart the retirement you deserve. To get your free copy today, text FUTURE to 888-262-1104 and download your free retirement toolkit. Start 2025 off with a gift to yourself, filled with all the tools you need to plan for a positive and purpose-filled future. Just text FUTURE to 888-262-1104 to start planning today. Make this new year your year to invest in yourself and secure a brighter tomorrow, starting today. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-210-8808. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-210-8808. 800-210-8808. 800-210-8808.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. For service today.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
B is offering one bath remodel for as low as $99 a month or get 2 bath remodels for as low as $249 a month. Call now to schedule that free in-home design consultation.
It takes everyone in the community working together to create a brighter future. Give, advocate, volunteer,
Live United. Visit liveunited.org to learn how you can help.
Coming up in 2 minutes, how cold it will get later this week. Plus, the snow came and went, and not all the city's snowplows were in working order. And lawmakers are back at the State House. What bills they're looking to see become law. I'm Kirk Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
We expect an update any minute from fire officials in Los Angeles. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We could have another 500 firefighters here on this incident, and we still wouldn't be able to stop this fire.
Pasadena Fire Chief Chad Augustin, 3 wildfires burning out of control all morning. Tens of thousands of people evacuated quickly, and it was traffic chaos as flames closed in.
People were told to get out of their cars and run for their lives if they wanted to survive. And in fact, many did.
Fox's William Lachaness is in Malibu has watched more than a dozen homes burn.
This is normally a row of uninterrupted houses. These are $5 million homes minimum, and they are overlooking the water. Some are on stilts, if you will, water going right underneath them, and yet they're all gone.
We have Trump legal updates this morning on 2 cases. This one just broke about an hour or so ago.
The Justice Department reveals in court documents that U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland plans to release special counsel Jack Smith's report based on his investigation into the January 6th election interference case against President-elect Trump. There is no plan to release the classified document report.
As Fox's Jessica Rosenthal, the president-elect is also taking his New York fight to the Supreme Court, not wanting to be sentenced for falsifying business record convictions.
His lawyers filed an emergency motion to the High Court this morning to stop that sentencing that is set for 48 hours from now on Friday. The bid first goes to Judge Sonia Sotomayor because she handles the jurisdiction of New York. She can then refer it to the full court.
As Fox's Eric Shawn, this evening there's a Trump meeting at the U.S. Capitol with Republican senators.
We get all balled up here in Congress about process and procedure.
But Senator John Cornyn tells Fox they owe it to Trump voters
to move his agenda forward. And first thing we have to do is all get on the same page.
Breaking news out of Gaza. Israel reports they found the bodies of 2 more hostages, a father and son, kidnapped by Hamas in last year's terror attack that triggered the war. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
It's getting cold, 21 degrees and partly cloudy downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. The coldest temperatures of the season are here, and it's about to get even colder, says Mike Kosh with the National Weather Service.
We got an Arctic air mass, high pressure, that'll be moving over central Indiana, well, over the Ohio Valley overnight tonight. And that'll bring with it Arctic air and some clearing.
And Kosh says a light snow may be in the forecast for Friday. Indianapolis is short more than a dozen snow plows after nearly 8 inches of snow hit the city this week. Ryan Hedrick explains.
The city had planned for 70 trucks, but only 57 are running right now. They're tackling priority routes, but they're short-handed. They're looking at 16th and 38th Streets, as well as Washington Street east to west, and they're focusing on clearing snow from downtown. The DPW says the number of trucks could change depending on truck issues and the storm's severity. More snow is in the forecast Friday. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Lawmakers are digging in at the State House as the legislative session gets underway. Many things to discuss for them, including a 2-year budget, but also a bill to rework the responsibilities of the lieutenant governor. Finally, lawmakers expect to work on property tax relief for Hoosiers. State police and one trooper shot a man with a gun Tuesday morning. Harrison Silcox reports.
Officers responded to a call in Peru, Indiana, about someone slamming on some windows at a home that didn't belong to them. State police showed up to that house and were told their suspect went to a nearby trailer and decided to head that way themselves. Outside of that trailer was the man accused of hitting those windows, and officers say he was carrying. A state trooper shot him. After that, man pointed a gun in their direction, and state police have not identified who was shot, but he has been moved to a hospital in Fort Wayne. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Indiana Pacers hoping to make it 4 wins in a row tonight. They have the Chicago Bulls at home. Tyrese Halliburton is questionable with a sprained ankle. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, Casey, did you know that the Social Security Trust Fund is expected to run out of money in less than 10 years?
Rob, that can't possibly be true.
Oh, it is. According to Barron's, an average couple could lose up to $16,500 every year in Social Security income.
Multiply that by 10 or 20 years, and it could easily add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's why it's critical you have the right strategy to file for Social Security.
Discover how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits with a free customized Social Security analysis.
It's from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy. You know, he's our retirement guy, too. We trust Bill, and so can you.
If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling
317-932-9912. That's 317-932-9912.
Bill Demery, 317-932-9912.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, January 8th. It is 5 minutes after 11 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Just hold your horses, all right? We're going to get to your haircut in just a minute, okay?
Can you believe people, though? Can you believe people? They are... people just never cease to amaze me.
Which person has upset you this moment?
So last segment we talked about how both Holcomb and Pence have totally bastardized the Sagamore the Wabash. They've gutted all the meaning out of it. You know, every governor before that, it was this super distinguished award that went to the best among us, people who had given for their communities for years and years and years. And we said, under both Pence and Holcomb, they've just made it a political award where people who work for them or with them, or the worst part about it is the politicians,
party insiders,
are getting this, are getting these awards. And the latest stooge to get one is this Mike Kreider guy, who is a senator is it Hancock and Shelby County, I think, are the two counties he represents. And it's like these politicians in the General Assembly have been horrible to the taxpayers. Horrible to the taxpayers, especially the past 8 years. We have never been asked to give more and gotten less in return. And people like Mike Kreider and his buddies have been the ones making the choice. These lawmakers should be ashamed of themselves, Casey, for the way they've treated the taxpayers. And yet, I get a message. And I'm not even going to name the person, and I don't want to give them the credit of saying their name out loud. I haven't heard from this person, it's a political person,
of course,
in probably 10 years.
Yeah.
10, maybe longer than that. I don't know.
You're still contacting their phone.
Apparently they still have my phone. I don't even know who this person was. I had to look their name up because they have a different name than they had when I knew them last. That's how long it's been. I was like, who in the hell is this person? And so I have to look them up. And it is this person wrote a Dickens novel about like how disappointed they were in me, about what a great guy Mike Kreider was, and about all the great work he'd done. And I just responded to this person. I said, I haven't heard from you in years. And this is what you're messaging me about. All the crap these guys are pulling, they take and they take and they take. They give nothing back to regular people. They take and they take and they take and they take. And that's what you're pissed off about, is that I had the audacity to point out that a person who is a state senator, who already gets the power to lord over people, has for the past 12 years, makes $70,000-ish in the process to work 2 or 3 months out of the year, gets Fridays off, by the way, and this is why you're pissed off at me for pointing out that the governor has ruined
the Sagamore of the
for
Wabash
the people who actually deserved it.
I'm curious as to what the objection was. Like, this person
I don't know.
sent you all of the good things that Mike has done and why he's deserving of the award. So
do I know it? Like,
I don't want to even hear from that person. I want to hear from the governor.
Well, this is
like, what are the qualifications?
He's a senator. He already gets the reward. The reward is he gets to ruin my life. That is his reward. He gets to exempt himself. Like, remember the mask mandate? Remember when Holcomb did the mask mandate? What's the first thing Mike Kreider and his little goon squad buddies in the General Assembly did? They exempted themselves from the mask mandate. Oh, you still had to wear one every year. Remember when Holcomb was trying to put you in jail for not wearing a mask? You still had to wear your mask everywhere. But the General Assembly, oh, hot dang, they took care of themselves.
These people already get rewarded far more than they have ever deserved. These people should be ashamed of the way they've acted the past 8 years under Eric Holcomb, and they're glad-handing in some sort of stooge convention, telling each other, patting themselves on the back.
It's a thank-a-thon.
What a great job they've done.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. So that's what has upset you right now.
I mean, am I wrong with any of that? That is ridiculous that political people are getting awards that were designed to be given to people who have asked for no thanks. They have asked for no publicity. They've spent their lives giving and giving and giving to their communities. That is the premise of the Sagamore. Who thinks any person in the Indiana Senate is the best and brightest amongst us?
Yeah, these awards celebrate individuals who have significantly impacted their communities or the state at large, and you're saying the impact has been negative, so why are we honoring?
He didn't do it with his money. It's not like Mike Kreider's writing a check out of the trust fund. He's taking money from people as a lawmaker. He's confiscating through threat of force money from people and then giving it to people who didn't earn it. That is his literal existence as a senator. That is not something that should be rewarded. And by the way, I jumped Jim Merritt's backside when he got one years ago from Pence, too. So I'm an equal opportunity offender on this. This is ridiculous. The amount of people they're giving these Sagamores out to, totally diluting what it meant to the other people who actually earned it, and the fact that they're giving it to these lawmakers, acting like they have done something great for humanity when all they do is take by force from people is disgusting.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. And something that happened yesterday, the Lake and Riley Act was passed in the House of Representatives, and it was the first piece of federal legislation that was approved by the 119th Congress after the House agreed to its rules for the term. All voting Republicans supported the bill, along with 48 Democrats. But what in the world? 159 Democrats voted against that act. Why would you be in favor of rapists and murderers?
Are you surprised, though?
That they said, no, we're not going to vote yes on this? No, I'm not surprised at all. Of course, this bill has been named after that nursing student who was killed by an illegal immigrant while jogging on the University of Georgia's campus. Do you remember during was the State of the Union address, Marjorie Taylor Greene was yelling at Joe Biden, say her name. And then when he tried, he mispronounced it.
He said the name of the football coach at USC.
Right.
Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley. No, not the same person.
Now, Fetterman was asked about this.
Yeah.
And Fetterman actually said I think he said he's going to vote for this. And here's the thing you want to say about Fetterman is Fetterman is a very savvy politician, and he reads the tea leaves, and he knows the direction of the country and the direction of the people in his state, and he has read those tea. Now, look, he's not going to be an advocate of Donald Trump. He's not going to be in there being a teammate. But on things like this, he knows where the people are, and he knows that poor girl was brutally murdered by an illegal immigrant, a person who broke the law to get in this country, was apprehended in New York. New York let him go.
Right.
And then he goes down, it was Georgia, right? He went down to Georgia and he kills this poor innocent girl who was doing nothing wrong.
So some of the key provisions of the bill requires federal immigration authorities to detain illegal immigrants found guilty of theft-related crimes. So, for example, this bad guy in Georgia who murdered Lincoln Riley, he would not have been let go had this act already been in place. It also allows states to sue the Department of Homeland Security for harm caused by illegal immigration.
We have to pass a law that said that we don't already do that? We don't really? There's not a law that already said. What are the two things? We don't already do these?
It says that authorities will detain illegal immigrants if they're found guilty of theft, and it also allows states to sue the Department of Homeland Security.
What an indictment of this country that we don't already apprehend and detain people who are illegally in the country. This is what I've never understood, Casey. Help me out with this. Why is it that if you are caught in this country illegally, you are not just immediately put on a bus and put back to your country of origin and just dropped out in the desert somewhere?
Right. Can you imagine? I mean, being here illegally is already the first law that you've broken. And then you're going to steal something. Okay, that's the second law you're going to break. And then the harm you're causing to other people because you weren't detained, third law.
I mean, if we're apprehending people that are legal citizens for crime being in the country illegally, I don't understand. Look, we have all these airports that have these international flights, right? Why don't we just have a daily flight to 4 or 5 countries where these people are predominantly coming from, and when we catch you, you are going on a flight. Each day we have, however many flights we need, and we take those people back to their country of origin, and we drop them off, and we say, have a nice life. We don't want to see you again. Thank you. Why don't we do that? Why is that so impossible for us to do? Think of the amount of money that we would say, we have the court system this and the court. If we know you're in the country illegally, why are you a part of our court system? Seriously, why are you entitled to anything under our court system? Either you are a U.S. citizen or you are not.
Why are you entitled to anything?
Right.
Honestly.
If you cannot prove you're a
not
U.S.
here
citizen.
legally.
Do you know how easy it is to prove you're a U.S. citizen? If you ask me right now, I could think of 5 different ways I could prove to you I'm a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
If you can't prove you're a U.S. citizen, then you don't have the right to be here. You don't have the right to our court system. You don't have right to our services. You have the right to nothing. Why do these people get to stay here for years and years and years and years?
The bill is expected to be voted on by the Senate later this week, but Tom Homan has announced that he's going to be doing a weekly briefing from the White House for transparency.
What will you be doing in the briefings? A list of deportees?
We'll be doing what the current administration isn't doing, Byron. We're going to be transparent with the American people. We've said, President Trump has said, we're going to concentrate out of the gate on public safety threats and national security threats. So we want to tell the American people exactly what we're doing, who we're arresting, and how we're going about this. A lot of people are claiming, this mass deportation is going to be inhumane and it's racist. We're going to show the American people we know how to do this, and we're going to do it the right way. So we're going to be very transparent, letting the American people know exactly what we're doing every week.
Can you imagine somebody like Mayorkas doing a weekly briefing from the White House? It would be filled with nonstop lies. I saw somebody say, how they had the COVID counter, the ticker? That they should do one like that for deportations.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, I had learned a very valuable lesson last night. I got a haircut, and I learned a very valuable.
Is it because I said your hair got long over break?
Well, we got to go to the big soiree on Saturday, and I don't want to embarrass because we're sitting at the same table, I think, and I didn't want to embarrass you.
Thank you.
It was getting a little out of hand, and so I went and got my hair did, as the ladies say, and I had a lovely, lovely conversation with the woman who did a phenomenal job cutting my hair last night, and we had a very interesting conversation.
Okay, we gonna talk about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's on the way from 93 WIBC. Rob, did you know the Social Security Trust Fund is expected to run out of money in less than 10 years? Have you heard this?
Unbelievable. The lawmakers have told me everything is fine.
Well, according to Barron's, an average couple could lose up to $16,500 every year, every single year, in Social Security income.
Yeah, and unless you're super rich like Casey, losing $16,500, that would be quite a hit. Now, multiply that by 10 or 20 years, and it could easily add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars.
But that's why it's critical that you have the right strategy to file for Social Security. Discover how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits. That happens with a free, customized Social Security analysis.
It's from Bill Demery, your retirement guy, my retirement guy. In Indy, we trust Bill, and you can too.
Yeah, if you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis by calling 317-932-9912.
Yeah, it's 317-932-9912.
Thousands of people had to evacuate fast in Los Angeles County.
Another update is just minutes away.
Fires moving so fast and just exploding because of the wind.
3 wildfires rage out of control, spread by hurricane-force wind gusts.
Get the facts.
Snow is in the forecast for Friday.
Not just the talking points.
1 to 2 inches expected. Temperatures will drop into the single digits overnight.
On the level.
Shane Steichen.
Start, looking at the draft.
On the go.
Legislative session kicks off today.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
It's the new year. Time to make a positive change in your life.
I went to My Computer Career because I needed job security.
Because I wanted a career in cybersecurity.
I went to My Computer Career because IT jobs are everywhere.
My old job was going nowhere.
I went because I didn't want college loans for the rest of my life.
Because I wanted a career for the rest of my life.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Financial aid available for qualified students, including the GI Bill. 529 college savings plans accepted. Not available in Washington State.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code YEAR to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
B is offering one bath remodel for as low as $99 a month, or get 2 bath remodels for as low as $249 a month. Call now to schedule that free in-home design consultation.
So you've got a big event coming up this weekend, and you wanted to look good, so you went and got your hair cut, huh?
Did it for you.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't seen you in a few weeks, and yesterday when I saw you for the first time, I was like, whoa, your hair's getting long. I mean, it looked cute. You looked nice. It was just a different look for you. I'm used to the short haircut on Rob Kendall.
I used to. I would let my hair grow out for 3 or 4 months at a time.
Was that a money-saving thing?
When I was younger and I had really curly, beautiful hair.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's fine now. It's just not, the utopia it once was, and it doesn't look nearly as good when it grows out. Plus, once you've hit 40, the idea of you're letting your hair grow out, you probably passed that phase.
It means something a little different to you. You actually had some sideburns going.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it was cute.
I used to have very, very, very beautiful hair. What the real reason was my grandmother loved my hair, and so I would see my grandmother once a week. I would go over to her house, and she would always say, I just love your beautiful long hair. Don't ever cut it." So
that's a sweet memory.
So now I try to go 2 months because haircuts are getting really expensive.
Yes,
now.
they are.
So I try to make it, and I did make it. In fact, I made it 2 months and 5 days. They have the little chart, and I asked them, and they said, "You've been 2 months and 5 days." So good, I can get my hair cut now. And I had it's one of the problems about me going anywhere in the town I grew up in is every so often
people know your history.
Well, the people, they will ask you, "Are you so and so?" And when I get asked, my response is universally maybe.
Depends.
and then I let you go first, and then we'll decide if I am who you think I am.
Yeah.
And there's this very nice lady, and she's making some small talk, and she tells me, I said, "Well," she goes, I just do this part time." And I said, "Well, what else do you do?" She goes, "Well, I'm a bus driver for the school system."
Oh.
And I said,
that's early hours.
Well, I said, "You actually have 1.5 jobs then, because that is not a part-time job. I don't care what the hours are. That's a very full-time job." And then that's when she busts out the, "Are you on the radio?" Maybe. She goes, "Oh, well, my husband and I, we listen to you all the time, and we're big fans."
She listened on the bus?
She said she cannot listen on the bus.
Okay.
But she does drive a dump truck on the side, and she said, "I listen all the time." And she's
got a lot of jobs. Well, you know what? She probably has high property taxes to pay.
Yes, that's right.
She's got to work 3 jobs.
And it was she was a wonderful, wonderful person, and it was a great conversation. But what I got to talking to her about the driving the school bus. And I said, I was asking her about the condition of the buses and the bus drivers and everybody's. What I was trying to get to the bottom of, she said, yes, everybody's still employed and all the bus drivers are still driving the buses. And the reason I asked this was because when I was an elected person, there was local governments have a funding source called TIF, tax increment finance, and that is designed to spur economic development in communities. And what you do is you take all the property taxes paid by businesses in a certain area, and you then use that money to roads, bridges, sidewalks, whatever. It's a way to do large infrastructure projects without having to go to the taxpayers to raise taxes or whatever. It's a very creative way local governments can do big projects without having to ask taxpayers for more money. And when I was an elected official, I found out that our town was essentially just handing away hundreds of thousands of dollars annually out of the tax increment finance district to the school corporation. And when I first started looking over the books, I said, why are we doing this? Why aren't we using this money? Clearly there are many needs in this community for infrastructure. And the town manager at the time just said, well, the council just, they kind of just want to keep the school system happy. And I said, well, do they have any legal recourse to this money? And he said, well, no. I said, isn't that the town's money to do with as they see fit? And he goes, yeah. I said, well then, and I used a different word that I can't say on these airwaves. And I said them. And I said, we should not be giving this money. He goes, well, I think you're going to start a real storm here if you allocate. I said, it's supposed to be allocated for this stuff, and we're just handing it to these people. What, so they'll be nice to us and say they like us, and what, they won't cause a stink in the community?
He told you they want to keep the school happy.
That's right. Yeah. So I said, well, we're done with that. And so my first year, then when I was sworn in, became like, that's one of the first things we did is we cut off that allocation of that money to the school. I said, schools should be able to fund its budget with the money that is allocated to it by the taxpayers. They shouldn't be coming to other government entities. And what I realized was they were basically funding their bus drivers and their buses out of this tax increment finance money. They were using money for other things, wasteful or unaccountable things, and they were taking this money from the town that they were banking on, and they were paying the bus drivers or the buses out of this money. And so when we did this, it was done through, it's called the Redevelopment Commission. Your community has one of these, and this is how they oversee the tax increment finance money. And so we have this meeting where we're deciding what we're going to do with the tax increment finance money. And the superintendent at the time convinced like 50 poor bus drivers that if they
would lose their jobs.
Exactly. Bingo. Yep. Absolutely. And these people, I felt so bad for them because bus drivers are some of the best people among us. They love kids. They're not doing it for the money. They're doing it because they love the community. They're just awesome. You couldn't pay me enough to be a bus driver. Like, thank God we have these people that are willing to do it. And I'm watching this going, how pathetic of a human being is this superintendent that he has convinced these poor people. They're in tears. They're speaking.
Yeah.
And you're looking at this going, oh my gosh, this is the world I have now walked into, where because this guy isn't getting his, basically, for lack of a better term, slush fund money, and he's actually going to have to use his own money to pay these people. He's not firing any bus drivers. He's not doing that. But this guy is so underhanded that he's
using it as a threat.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. And so it's good to know that all these years later,
they still are
drivers. Very happy.
Yep.
They have buses.
They're still
they have
there.
Bus drivers. No bus drivers were fired. And my point of all of this, the reason of this is you're about to hear when Mike Braun unveils this property tax plan about how if his property tax plan,
we won't be able to afford the buses.
They'll take the most dreadful things. Oh, we're going to fire the police. Oh, we'll have to lay off firemen. Oh, bus drivers will be bull. Nobody's going to get fired. The same way as nobody got fired at the Brownsburg bus barn, there ain't going to be one policeman that's going to get fired, one fireman that's going to get fired. It is absolutely not going to happen. Do not let these gross, disgusting local government people strong-arm your legislators into thinking the doomsday scenarios are going to take place.
Did she tell you what age group she was driving the bus for?
Yes, she said she had both young kids and high school kids.
Okay, so multiple routes most likely. And was her bus an EV bus?
I don't know.
Because I was told by the vice president that they were rolling out all EV buses.
I don't know. I didn't get that far. It was a very pleasant conversation. She did a fine job. She was very expedient in the job that she did, and
I hope you gave her a nice tip.
I did, and I always try. I always try to pay my stylists, barbers, whatever, in cash. That way, the government
doesn't take their 10%.
Absolutely, that's right.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-239-1749, 800-239-1749, or biglou.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Trying to contain wildfires in Los Angeles. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Particularly in the areas around the Palisades, Malibu, and Pasadena, L.A. County Board of Supervisors member Catherine Barger says it's all hands on deck for local fire departments.
We have our resources stretched very thin. We've asked for additional resources from out of state.
So far, over 3,000 homes have burned in the Palisades, Malibu areas. No deaths reported as of yet. Power has also been cut off to these areas to prevent the sparking of more wildfires. More than half of Americans believe Joe Biden's presidency will be viewed historically as poor or below average. That's according to a new poll conducted by Gallup. It showed that just 6% of Americans believe Biden did an outstanding job as president. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Do you have an idea for a book, fiction, nonfiction, or a children's book? We can help you put it together and bring it to market at Dorrance Publishing. We have thousands of testimonials from people just like you that we've helped get their books sold in stores and online. We've even got a service called The Writer's Coach. It's perfect for people that have a book idea in their head and they just need someone to help them put it on paper. Dorrance Book Publishing has been helping people just like you who have a book idea, written or not, for over 100 years. Imagine being counted among the most famous authors in the world with your very own book. Call right now and let us help you turn a book idea into reality. It's easier than you think. You just need a little help. Call us now.
800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. That's 800-879-4098.
Pat Sullivan here with Michaela of Michaelis. If you have water damage, why should you call Michaelis?
Michaelis is a local family-owned Indianapolis company with 39 years experience. On call 24/7, 365. We are IICRC certified and will restore your space to pre-loss condition or better. And we work through the entire insurance process on your behalf to make it easy.
Water, storms, fire, and mold. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIX-INDY.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars and lose the weight guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis to destroy unwanted cravings, late day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Seminars January 23rd at the Holiday Inn Express in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar at 8. And January 25th at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
B is offering 1 bath remodel for as low as $99 a month or get 2 bath remodels for as low as $249 a month. Call now to schedule that free in-home design consultation.
The Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show is this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. For hunting, sporting, and personal protection gear, visit the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
Well, no wonder your computer got infected with all those viruses.
You know, have we talked about this? How I have had this virus on my computer for weeks and weeks, and I have sent a note in, and Kevin has sent a note in. It just says, your computer is infected with a virus. Someone is downloading files from your computer. Is it you? And I click on the thing to try and get rid of it, the little box that pops up, and then it takes me to, I don't know, some crazy website. But you're saying that it's my fault that there's a virus on the computer?
Well, I'm not going to say what you were looking up, but I went over there, and here's the problem. We needed to do this story, and I was not going to put this into my search bar, and I just said, Casey, put this into your search bar, and you did it. And think about how many times over the years you've done that. And this is why your computer has the hantavirus in it, or whatever the thing is.
It's got something.
You'll just put anything into your search browser.
Well, you know,
it's kind of disgusting if we look through your search history. I bet
it probably really is, but it's all in the. It's all for research.
That's
Rob.
right. Yeah.
I'm just trying to make the show as good as possible.
So you desperately want to talk about this porn actress?
I don't want to, but she went into a Five Guys restaurant. Okay, her name is Bonnie Blue.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Is that her? I bet that's not her legal name.
Mm-hmm. But she's an OnlyFans creator, and she went.
Okay, so Kevin and I were having this conversation during the break, and I'm totally out of this game. I have no idea how it works anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time where I had a pretty sound knowledge of industry and industrial standards, but not anymore. That's we've left that behind. On OnlyFans, are you allowed to do whatever? There's no limit.
I believe so.
It's your site, and you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think it has to be sexual content necessarily.
But I'm saying from you can do. It's not like Instagram where they ban. You know that you can't post porn on Instagram or whatever. It's your site. You can do whatever with whoever.
Yeah.
So she, instead of in an industry where traditionally
it's behind a paywall.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You pay a certain fee per month or whatever. And then you can see the content of and then you don't you pay, who is that? We had that story about that one woman who made $43 million or something, right? So you can pay more to have personal interactions with
I think there's tiers to the subscription. So yeah, you can pay more.
Platinum level.
Well, I'm saying, like,
sure.
Am I wrong? Is that how it works? I mean,
you can pay more for a digital meet and greet.
Oh, how exciting. I bet that's a very uplifting experience.
That's what we're calling it now.
A digital meet and greet with Bonnie Blue.
Sure.
That's what I got you for your birthday this year, Kev. Congratulations. Okay, so now instead of, it's just like anything else, like the music industry where you used to have to Capitol Records or whatever. You don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to be an adult film star. You don't have to sign with a company anymore. You don't even...
Right.
Correct.
You can just do it on your own.
You're in control.
Yeah.
And that's what OnlyFans originally started for. It was for like comedians and musicians so that they could control.
Gee, who would have thought porn would get a stranglehold on a company called OnlyFans, Casey? Boy, that just took the owners of that by surprise. Never thought about it. Okay, so what is this woman doing?
Well, she's the one. She went viral for engaging with 950 men in 24 hours.
Engaging.
Like,
was this also a meet and greet?
It was.
Was this one of those ones where you pay for the autograph and you also get a photo for an additional fee? Okay.
Engaging.
900 and how many?
950 in 24 hours.
That's a honest day's work there, Casey.
Yeah.
Good grief.
But she was at a Five Guys restaurant, and she was trying to pressure the man behind the counter into being 951.
Wait a minute. She went to like the restaurant.
Yeah, the restaurant, the burger joint.
And she approached a random stranger.
He was working.
While he was working.
Right. He was behind the counter trying to take her burger
and
fry order.
Serve the fine patrons of Five Guys. And then she propositioned him?
She did. Let's take a listen.
I just wondered, I can't see it on the menu, but where do I get the Five Guys from? The Five Guys. I didn't know if there was like a special room where you can take me out back.
No, I don't think that's happening.
What about after your shift? I mean, I'd want to give you, a good rating.
I'm a Christian man and I'm saving myself to marriage.
I'm asking for what's on the menu, that's all.
Genuinely, I feel like I'm doing it right now. I can hand you a menu if you want.
Are you on it?
No, I'm not.
Oh, that's a shame.
So she's pestering this guy
Yes.
while he's trying to work.
Yeah.
And to this guy's credit, he said, "Get lost, street urchin."
He said,
I'm working.
I'm a Christian man. I am not on the menu. What can I get you for food?
You want to talk about someone who's a complete bottom feeder of society.
Correct. I mean, she was basically sexually harassing this guy while he's working. He's just trying to give her food.
Yeah.
Like, I'm working at a restaurant here. And she's like, "Are you on the menu? Where do I get the Five Guys?" Trying to be all cute and coy. I mean, it's kind of disgusting, actually.
Okay, so when you said 950, that's not you were not. It was not a real meet and greet. Then you've misled me. It was not a traditional like you'd say it at Comic-Con. It was not a meet and greet like that. Then.
Well, what do you mean I've misled?
Well, like at Comic-Con, William Shatner is appearing in a meet and greet.
You shake their hand.
Right.
You get the picture.
You've misled me.
There's something shaking.
Well, it's a family program, Casey.
What?
I should not be the one correcting you. What does it say about our society, though, that these sort of people can rise to prominence? Like she's probably making a lot of money.
Yeah. I don't know what her net worth is. Why
don't you Google that?
We did not look up on the computer.
But
Rob.
I mean, any idea? Do they announce how many followers or subscribers or whatever that is on the OnlyFans? Do they announce how many they have?
You mean how many people view? Oh, like how many?
You
clients?
pay money, right? Like how many people are paying money to see you?
Well, it's just saying that she went viral when she did this. So
but I'm saying
I don't know exactly.
How many people are paying to see this street urchin's content? Like how many? What is it? $5? Is it $10? Is there a set? You set your own rate for the content?
She's got a link tree even.
What?
Premium OnlyFans. She's on TikTok as well and Instagram. And
you're just saying a bunch of things. I have no idea what you're talking. A link tree? What in the world is that?
A link tree is where you can put all of your social media in one place.
Okay.
And it'll give links to everything all at once.
Okay. How much is it? How much is premium?
Well, believe it or not, it says sensitive content. This link may contain content that is not appropriate for all audiences.
No kidding.
And then I have to hit continue.
Go for it.
But
you've already ruined that computer.
Your system is under malware attack.
That's right. The malware's already on there. Click it.
No, I cannot because you know what? Nigel uses this computer.
We need to know how much. What's her name?
Bonnie Blue.
Sally Sue, Bonnie Blue. What's the worst that could happen if you click it? There's got to be a paywall to pay the information.
What's the worst that could happen?
Go for it.
You think Google should have this information?
I mean, that one woman made $43 million and she doesn't do anything.
Well, let me see if I can find out how much she has without clicking the link.
Better go quick.
Bonnie Blue net worth reveals how much money she's made. Okay, it's in pounds. Let's see.
Pounds?
$5 million.
Well, that's appropriate.
Net worth is $5 million.
$5 million?
Yep.
What is wrong with our society? Jeez Louise.
Hey, Abdul is going to join us next. It is 93 WIBC.
.306 this afternoon. It's the Hammer and Nigel show. Nigel, unless he's vacationing down at the Gulf of America, will be with us. Tony Kennett will be with us. We've got the biggest stories in Indy and a lot of laughs. 93 WIBC.
Let's talk about something that's on everyone's mind, staying safe online. From tech scams to data leaks, we've all heard the horror stories. But here's the good news. McAfee Total Protection has your back. Hey there, it's Casey Daniels. With McAfee Total Protection, you won't have to wonder if that text message is a scam, if new threats will pop up on your PC, or if you're safe from identity theft. Visit McAfee.com/online protection today to get award-winning online protection for just $39.99 your first year. Not a tech expert? No problem. McAfee makes it simple to protect yourself from even the sneakiest online scammers. You can shop, bank, and stream online with confidence. McAfee's got your devices, your privacy, and your identity covered. Right now, get award-winning online protection for just $39.99 $39.99 for your first year. That's right, $39.99. So visit McAfee.com/online protection. Stay safe online, worry less. Cancel anytime, terms apply.
Totally changed my life.
It's amazing. I don't have any cravings. You want to quit, but have found it impossible? This is the thing for you. I have absolutely no craving. It's the darndest thing I have ever seen in my life.
It's not for entertainment. It's for results.
Do it. It works. Period.
You've tried everything else. You need to come and try this.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking. Early bird special only $49.99 guaranteed. No irritability, no cravings. Because don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all. In addition, use hypnosis to lose all the weight and destroy unwanted cravings. Seminars Thursday, January 23rd at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, Indianapolis Northeast and Noblesville. Weight loss seminar at 5:30 p.m., stop smoking seminar at 8 p.m. Or Saturday, January 25th at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Hey, Bill, where you been? You're overdue for a haircut.
Man, listen, my water pipes burst and flooded my house. Place a mess. I've been staying with my daughter till I can figure out what to do.
You trying to fix it and move back in?
No way. It's too big a mess. It'll cost me tens of thousands of dollars. I ain't got that kind of money.
You trying to sell it then?
Well, that's what I'd like to do, but who's going to buy my house in this condition?
Did you call Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters bought our house when we were in a jam. We needed to move real quick. They closed fast and gave us cash.
Simple Quarters will buy in any condition?
That's right. They buy as is. You don't have to repair anything or clean anything out. It's simple.
What do I have to do?
Just call them. They'll do a quick walkthrough, then they'll make you an offer.
Simple Quarters is a local Christian company that loves to help people in difficult situations. Call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME. Check us out at simplequarters.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Hammer and Nigel here. It's a new year. Time to keep that promise of getting your testosterone levels checked. Lacking energy, muscle mass, or have low libido? Could be low T. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, may be the answer. Nobody matches the experts at Low T Center. And don't settle for a standard dosage TRT plan.
For current patients, Low T Center offers $150 referral credits when you refer a new patient. LowTCenter.com to book that appointment right now. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Do you need furnace or heat pump service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust like Reinhardt Heating and Cooling? Well, find that American Standard dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Check out what's going on with 93 WIBC.
Can you come get me? I'll be lying on the floor.
Listen to Hammer and Nigel this week for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Brian Regan, January 9th at Clues Memorial Hall.
More info online at WIBC.com.
It is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's here, and oh my goodness, Casey, look who it is.
I know. He's in his work clothes today.
He's an author, he's a broadcaster, he's a provocateur, and the owner and operator of IndyPolitics.org. Back from Mexico, Abdul-Hakim Shabazz, hello.
Yes, I left 80 degrees and sunny skies for 8 feet of snow and 8-degree temperatures.
Sorry about your luck. Hope you had a good trip. Welcome back to reality.
Well, fun thing was, just real quick, I know we got to talk about State House stuff, but when we got the big, 8 feet of snow that fell, we were on the west side of town. My wife works out at the local gym, but the gym was closed because, can't get in.
Everything was closed.
Everything was closed that day.
Yeah.
And so I was like, honey, I can't get out and exercise. Like, well, sweet, I actually know some exercise you can do. Here's a shovel.
Yes,
And
that's
so
very
she went
good.
out and she cleaned the driveway. She got her workout in. So
Good for her.
Everybody won.
Well, that's better than what you did a couple of years ago with those guys who knocked on your door. So, yeah, you're really. I mean, that's pretty bad of you, but it's better. It's better than what you used to do.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even sure we can tell that story on this family program. All right, so the General Assembly starts today. In fact, as we're hearing this right now, the hustling and the bustling, and you and I were talking about this during State House happenings. These fine folks have created quite the mess for themselves when you factor in all of the issues in front of them. And well, given their track record, they're about the last people in the world I'd want trying to solve the issues they've created.
Well, I would say some is self-inflicted, but some is just, stuff happens. Like I said, you got the property tax issues going to have to be figured out. You got the health care issues going to have to be figured out. You got the budget issue, and remember, I remind people that the budget is technically the only thing that lawmakers have to do.
That's right.
Is pass a balanced budget, and that is it. And then the other 1,999 bills, that's all icing on the cake for all whatever issues that people have. That's kind of point number one. But until you got a new governor, revenue isn't what it's supposed to be. The new revenue is getting eaten up by Medicaid costs. So there are some challenges. Some self-inflicted. Some are just sort of the circumstances that we're in right now.
So the big, and this is actually an issue that won't affect state money, but it's going to be the big issue that everybody's kind of going to be talking about, is the property tax fight. And what's interesting to me is Jim Merritt, who I think we would all say Jim's a pretty honest broker and is certainly more establishment maybe than conservative, has said, hey, there's no way they're going to let Braun's signature issue fail. Nikki Kelly came on yesterday and basically said, well, there's a lot of these lawmakers that are not nearly as fired up about it as Braun is, and it's going to be tough sledding with them. Where are you at on this? We got into the State House happenings. I said, the fact that Travis Holdman's carrying the bill, or we're told is going to carry the bill in the Senate, he's a big player. He's not some newbie freshman that, we'll let him throw it out there and watch it fail. I kind of agree with both of them. Where are you? I can see it going either way. Where are you?
I think Braun will get something.
Well, there you go. How about that for an answer?
Now, whether it's a capital S or a small letter S, that remains to be seen. Because once again, the governor's got his proposal. You got the Senate, they've got their thoughts. You got the House has got their thoughts. And this is how the process works. The governor puts together a plan. And then at the end of the day, what ends up happening usually isn't what the governor wanted. I'll never forget when Mitch Daniels first came in office, he offered up a 2% increase in the sales tax to help get Indiana's debt under control. All lawmakers said it was dead on arrival. But at the end of the day, they ended up working out and coming up with a proposal at the very end. And why did Mitch Daniels do that? Because, hey, he knew what? These guys aren't going to accept a tax increase. I know they won't accept a tax increase. So we'll throw it out there. They'll say, okay, fine. Let's see what you got. So it's a lot of back and forth, a lot of also playing three-dimensional chess.
So Rob had mentioned that he's heard that Travis Holderman is going to carry this bill, right? Heavy hitter. And then we had Andrew Ireland on, who's more of a newbie. What's more successful? To have somebody new who maybe have some passion attack it, or somebody with a whole bunch of experience?
Agent treachery will always beat youth and enthusiasts.
Okay.
Well, and this is...
Well, also got to understand, too, Andrew, I know Andrew's a good guy. I got some issues with some legislation he's proposing out there, which I think violates the Constitution, but he and I got to talk about that sometime next week. So, Andrew, if you're listening, FYI, I'm going to give you a call, buddy. But no, Travis Holman's been around the block. He's seen all this stuff before. And with that experience, what works and what won't work. Now, granted, we have the new guy come in, hey, have you thought about doing this way? Like, well, son, we tried that back in, 2000 XYZ. It didn't work. Here's why. What do you think? What could you do that's maybe a little bit different than what we tried the last go-around?
Abdul is our guest. It's the beginning of the Indiana General Assembly. So you and I had a little fun back and forth on this. Casey and I did math yesterday on the program, and it looks like, based on the revenue forecast, there's about $10 billion more annual dollars from 2014, from basically $14 billion to $24 billion based on the forecast-ish both ways. And we did an inflation calculator because the defend government at all costs people are like, well, you've never heard of inflation.
Right.
And so we did an inflation calculator, and we came up with about $14 billion in 2014 is worth about $18.657 billion today. So let's just round up so people don't accuse us of being partisan. So it's $19 billion. Well, that means there's still $5 billion extra dollars floating around out there. And what the General Assembly is kind of saying, because we're hearing hard times for everyone, is we've grown government to the point we're $5 billion additional dollars. We can't make it work. That's a really tough sell in a supposedly conservative Republican state. Where's all the money going?
No, let's go for the programs that people voted for. I mean, the thing to keep in mind is, and I know where you are on the taxes and the spending the whole 9 yards, but at the end of the day, you get the government you want. Because what happens when these guys run? How many of them get reelected over and over and over and over again? And nothing's really changed since, a lot of the same lawmakers are here today that were here back in 2014. I'd say about half of them are probably gone about now. But the thing to keep in mind is, I always say people don't mind necessarily high taxes as much as they mind the services that they get. Now, am I getting my money's worth? I'm not going to pay High Park Steakhouse prices for White Castle. That ain't going to happen. And so at the end of the day, and once again, we just had another election. How many incumbents lost? Maybe one or two-ish, I think.
Yeah. Okay, but let's talk about that for a second. So we're seeing this again. Old what's-his-face is quitting the House to go join the Braun administration. There's so many of these guys who do this now. They all just run together at this point. But there's another one who's doing this. And you know what happens then.
Alan Morrison.
Thank you very much. And so then the party insiders get together. They pick a hand-chosen replacement, and then that person starts with a gigantic advantage in terms of party infrastructure and fundraising and money and the apparatus. Come on. The reality is, unless you have just a rarity like a Micah Beckwith, who has the personality and this radio station behind him, which obviously we're not everywhere, these little pockets of Indiana, the party rigs the system to where they can get whoever they want in there, because once they're in there, it's almost impossible to beat these people. But that's my point. Don't act like all the people voted for this. No, they didn't. The whole thing is totally rigged, and you know it. And thank you for just admitting the whole thing is totally rigged.
When people go to the polls, they vote for their lawmakers.
Yeah, but you said they vote for the programs, and I don't believe that's necessarily true. It's more like the lawmakers have all this money, and we got to spend it somewhere.
No, people send them back over and over and over again. That's the thing. If you don't like the government you got, get another government. Thomas Paine.
Okay, I guess that's how we're going to go out for today. I mean, you can't ever do it, right? You can't ever say that these guys... I mean, look, Abdul, the Medicaid is a great example. There's $1 billion shortfall. They had to find money, and they narrowed it down to $500 million when they cut out inefficiencies and ineffectiveness. They could have done that at any point. They found $500 million in ineffectiveness and inefficiencies in Medicaid. They can do this on all of these programs.
And this is why I think Braun actually be good for Indiana, because Braun brings his business background.
I agree.
To streamline and sort of like, I won't say reinvent government, sort of streamline and make it more efficient.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes be more efficient means making government smaller, and sometimes to be more efficient, you got to make it a little bit bigger.
What are you doing this weekend? Are you doing anything for the station?
Yes. It's first day of school. School's back.
How exciting!
It's all lawmakers all the time.
What's coming up on Abdul at Large? Is it just the legislative session?
Just basically the legislature stuff.
Let me guess. Friday at about 6:00, you'll figure out what it is.
Actually, it's figured out this morning.
Oh, very good. All right, Casey, take us home.
Thanks, Abdul, and thank you, Rob. Thanks, Kevin, and thank you for listening today. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
The new year is here. Time for change. Start a recession-resistant new career in the high-demand fields of IT, cybersecurity, and AI with My Computer Career in just months. Already in IT? Build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers nationwide are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus. Make this your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill.
One of the real advantages that we have here at Hendricks is the scope of the services that we have to offer in orthopedics.
Whether they have a hip fracture or they're a high-functioning athlete, we're all working towards the same thing.
To have them be able to have an elective surgery safely and then go home also in a safe fashion is of utmost importance.
We very much want everyone to get back to doing everything that they were doing beforehand. We're really invested in it.
Unstoppable orthopedic care. Learn more at hendricks.org/ortho.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks VapoStick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors.
Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here, and if you're ready to start the new year taking care of you, then my friends at Hope Plumbing are here to help. For the month of January, get softer skin and hair, spotless glassware, take better care of your home appliances, and save money with a $200 off any new water softener. Let's celebrate the new year with the gift of soft water and ditch annoying scale buildup, failing appliances, and rough skin and nails. Call my friends at Hope Plumbing today.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
B is offering one bath remodel for as low as $99 a month, or get 2 bath remodels for as low as $249 a month. Call now to schedule that free in-home design consultation.
When was the last time you practiced your home fire escape plan? Be sure everyone in your family knows what to do if there's a fire. Get out, stay out. It's your fire safe response.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up,
we got an Arctic air mass, high pressure that'll be moving.
Trucks break down and need repairs, say city leaders.
Their cars stuck in the snow.
We've got fires throughout the entire county.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
The coldest temperatures of the season are here. Partly cloudy and 20 degrees in downtown Indy. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. And it's about to get even colder, says Mike Kosh with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis.
We got an Arctic air mass, high pressure that'll be moving over central Indiana, well, over the Ohio Valley overnight tonight. And that'll bring with it Arctic air and some clearing.
And more snow is expected Friday.
So we're looking at about 1 to 2 inches of snow over most locations across central Indiana.
And he says wind chills will be in the single digits on Thursday. Ryan Hedrick reports on the challenges facing the city's Department of Public Works.
Trucks break down and need repairs, say city leaders, and that's exactly what's happening now. The DPW says they're 13 trucks short after nearly 8 inches of snow fell Sunday and Monday, with more snow expected Friday. The city is already facing a shortage of experienced drivers. However, the DPW says the drivers they do have go through classroom training and refresher courses before the season starts to make sure they're prepared. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Snow and burglary apparently don't go together. Kurt Darling reports on this story from Evansville.
Matthew Engel and Madeline Brewer are both in jail. Court documents say that they were seen outside of an elderly woman's home Monday morning, their cars stuck in the snow. When a family member of the elderly woman approached, Engel ran off, but police came and arrested Brewer when stolen items from the home were found in her stuck Jeep. Police then followed Engel's footprints in the snow, which led them to a nearby motel, and he was found hiding out there and taken to jail. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Swift actions from police and a tip from a citizen led to an arrest in Indianapolis. IMPD said this morning 2 people walked into a Dollar General store on the east side of Indianapolis on Saturday, and one of them pointed a gun at an employee, took money, and ran off. But police say a concerned citizen told them they saw a white Ford sedan speeding away from the Dollar General, and they were eventually seen again at a nearby Family Dollar on 10th Street. Both of them were found at an alley behind the Family Dollar and arrested there. State police are releasing more information on a shooting in Peru Tuesday. Harrison Silcox with that story.
It all started with a 911 call about someone hitting the windows of a home that they didn't live in. State police showed up to the house and learned their suspect was at a nearby trailer. Officers then found that man sitting outside of that trailer with a gun. According to state police, one of their troopers shot their own gun after the man had pointed it in their direction. He's now in the hospital. State police are looking into the whole thing. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
What lawmakers say they're working on and what's affecting your mail. Those stories and more next on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today is a migrant caravan heading to the U.S. to get in under the wire before Trump takes office. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Well, Tony, speaking of President-elect Trump, he is filing a motion with the Supreme Court to delay his upcoming criminal sentencing in New York.
The bid will first go to Justice Sonia Sotomayor because she handles the jurisdiction of New York. She can then refer it to the full court to decide if Trump's lawyers are correct. They argue that Trump's sentencing on his 34 felony counts for paying off Stormy Daniels should not go forward day after tomorrow because the High Court has already given presidents wide immunity for official acts. They claim, quote, the New York trial court lacks authority to impose sentence and judgment on President Trump or conduct any further criminal proceedings against him.
That's Fox's Eric Shawn reporting. The Supreme Court wants a response from New York prosecutors by tomorrow morning. Post offices will be closed and no mail will be delivered tomorrow due to the National Day of Observance to honor the life of former President Jimmy Carter. Limited package delivery service will still be in effect in order to ensure business mail does not experience any negative impact to customers or business partners. The legislative session has started at the State House. Hoosier lawmakers will be discussing things such as the next 2-year budget and property tax relief. There's also legislation to extend bans on transgender athletes on women's sports at the college level. Another bill could also disband certain school districts if they don't meet some enrollment requirements. Large orange flames bursting into the sky in Southern California's Pacific Palisades, Malibu area. Catherine Barger is with the L.A. County Board of Supervisors.
Have the information in real time, but let me just say, this is a dynamic situation. We've got fires throughout the entire county, which are spreading our resources very short.
People who live there have been told to evacuate. The Palisades fire started Tuesday morning and has grown to more than 5,000 acres, has destroyed more than 1,000 structures too, and at least 2 people have died, and there are 2 other major fires burning in the area as well. Indianapolis Colts general manager Chris Ballard was supposed to speak this morning at 9, but his end-of-the-year news conference was postponed. The Colts say Ballard is not feeling well. They missed the playoffs for the 4th straight season with a record of 8-9. The NFL draft is in April, and the Colts have the 14th pick in the first round. Notre Dame takes on Penn State in the college football playoff semifinal at the Orange Bowl tomorrow. Len Clark reports from Florida.
The Fighting Irish are slight favorites heading into the game. Penn State is led by quarterback Drew Aller, who has thrown for 24 touchdowns this season and over 3,000 yards. And according to Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman, is playing his best football of the season.
He's playing confident. He's throwing the ball well, making really good decisions, staying in the pocket, and delivering good balls.
The winner advances to the national championship game in Atlanta on January 20th. Kickoff time Thursday night is set for 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Len Clark, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You've got a mostly sunny sky, 21 degrees, the high today, 24. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Live from the heartland and the crossroads of America, it's Tony Katz Today.
Who possibly votes against the Lake and Riley Act? Who does this? Who thought to themselves, you know what's an insane idea? Protecting Americans. You know what's a ridiculous, maddening, insane, crazy idea? The idea of saying that illegal immigration has no place in America. Who said this? Who thought to say this? Why would anybody think that this is a bad idea? That we should say to ourselves, if you're that we don't have to play around with anything else. We don't have to pretend that somehow there is a value to being supportive of illegal immigration. We should simply say no. That seems to be the rational course. Yet I have got 159 Democrats who voted against the Laken-Riley Act. If you want to ask, do these people really hate America? You can. And the answer is, it's not that simple. What they hate is you. And how could it possibly be anything but obvious? Tony Katz Today. So good to be with you. Find everything at TonyKatz.com. The phone number 833-468-8669, 833-GOT-TONY. That's how you get to be a part of the show. The Laken-Riley Act, passed by the House of Representatives with a vote 264 to 159, did have 48 Democrats voting for it, 11 more than the last time it came about. The Laken Riley Act is named after a woman by the name of Laken Riley, a 22-year-old who was murdered by an illegal immigrant, her body dumped on the University of Georgia campus. The nursing student, you remember the story. All this woman did was go for a jog in America. That's all she did. She did nothing wrong. What was wrong was that an illegal immigrant was allowed into the country, and this illegal immigrant killed her. If it can't be said that this person would be alive if the illegal immigrant was not in the country, if you can't say that, if somehow saying that is bigoted, if somehow saying that is racist, if somehow saying that is xenophobic, well, then my advice to you is to be bigoted and racist and xenophobic, because none of that is real. What matters is it's honest. If the illegal immigrant was not in the country, then Laken Riley would be alive. Not a debate. Just an absolutely factual, undeniable statement. Yet there is an argument that gets made for why you can't vote for things like the Laken Riley Act. The Laken Riley Act would state that if an illegal immigrant is charged with a what's the word I'm looking for? A nonviolent crime. Shoplifting, for example, which we can argue whether that's violent or nonviolent. Well, then they can still be detained. Because they're in the country illegally, they can be detained. What is wrong with that? These are people who broke the law. I know that there are those